Yawn for Nancy on XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais, with me Steve Merchant.
Hello
Karl
there.
Pilkington. Steve, you got any other toilet-related anecdotes?
Rick, my life is just full of toilet trauma.
Yeah.
And Carl, you may not realise this, but a while back I used to host, this is bizarre, I used to host a radio show on the BBC World Service, right? Now, if you want someone who's the voice of integrity, the voice of intelligence, the voice of a nation, you're going to come to me. That's obvious. And I was broadcasting to, now they've got listeners of something like 50, 60 million people around the world. It's mental, the listenership of the World Service. And I used to host this show with someone else.
It's a big place, Steve.
The World?
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. And anyway, so I had to be into Bush House, where they broadcast from, 10 o'clock every Friday morning to broadcast around the world to 50 million people, right? And one week, I went to the toilet in my house, right? Everyone had left. I got there a bit late. I got up a bit late. Already against me. The clock was already against me. Had to be there at 10 o'clock, broadcast around the world. And we got two toilets in our house, downstairs one, right? And the door had already been a bit dodgy. It was one of those doors where you had to give it a bit of a kick as you went in. It was getting a bit tight. I don't know what the wood was expanding or something. You know, I'm in there. And same thing again happens. No toilet paper. I think, oh God, I'm going to have to somehow kind of make it up.
Why don't you check first?
I normally do, Rick. I normally do. It's just on certain occasions when I'm bleary-eyed or something, I forget, or occasionally I forget. Normally I do check.
Right.
And you've got to bear in mind that it's not like this is happening every week. This is over the course of many years that
Sure.
these incidents have accumulated. So
You've condensed them.
for the purposes of this anecdote.
Sure.
Yeah. Yes. And great. You're just brilliant to keeping the pace up of an anecdote there, Rick. You've just drawn in. I don't know where I am now. Anyway, I know where I am. I'm trapped in a toilet with no toilet paper.
Yeah.
That's where I am. And I'm thinking maybe I peel off some of the wallpaper, you know, things like that. But there's nothing I can do. I got to go upstairs.
Newspaper.
Well, exactly. But I have to go upstairs and find
Toilet paper, was there any?
There wasn't.
There
sadly.
wasn't? Oh.
I'll have to go upstairs and maybe find a notepad or something like that. And so I try the door, right? The door's wedged, and I'm pulling on the door, and I can't get the door open. It's just like it won't come open. And it's already, and I knew it was going to come to this at some point. Like, this is like, the clock's ticking. I'm trying to pull the door open, trousers around my ankles again. And I'm thinking, well, what I could do is I could open the window, I suppose, and like try and climb out, but not really, because I got the trousers around the ankles. And that's
Or if it was raining, just stick your arse out, two birds with one stone.
Sadly, it was a beautiful day, Rick.
I call it the World B-Day.
And so what I'm thinking is, I got my mobile phone in there, luckily, because it's in my pocket. I'm thinking, well, maybe I could phone, I was seriously
Kleenex.
Maybe I'll phone the fire brigade.
By this point, I mean, it just dried.
No, it hadn't, it was...
Hold on, was that little puppy not around? Because sometimes you can call that, it's got a little bit wrapped round it.
Listen.
Or
This is
just
a
use the
serious
puppy
issue.
itself.
There's 50 million people around the world going to need to hear my voice in, 30 minutes.
Exactly.
And-
Where's Steve? He's not locked in the toilet again, is he?
Exactly.
Oh, no.
So I'm thinking about phoning the fire brigade, and I'm thinking,
Sure.
like, if I do that, it's gonna be the first call that goes straight on the speakerphone.
Yeah.
For like the entire fire brigade service
With
everywhere.
a butch hero carrying you down over his shoulders with your trousers around your ankles. Can I
Exactly.
just not pull him up? No, you've got to be taught a lesson.
Yeah. But I imagine the idea of phoning up and going, hello there, I'm trapped in a room in my house. Oh yeah, which one is it? Oh, I
It's
don't
quite
need
small.
to know.
It's quite small. Is it?
Yeah. It's not the toilet, is it? Because we don't want to come out and rescue someone who's trapped in the toilet.
Which
No.
service do you require? Paper?
So I think I can't find the fire brigade. The clock's ticking. So then I think one of my housemates is still in the house, but still asleep. So I phone the house number. Right, phone rings and rings and rings for ages, and eventually he answers the phone. Right, gets out of bed, answers the phone. Yeah, hi, it's Steve. All right, what's wrong? I'm
What are you doing?
downstairs.
What are you doing? All right, yeah. I didn't wait. No. What are you doing? I'm just in the
I'm just
toilet.
downstairs in the toilet.
Oh, yeah, what are you doing? Well, I've finished what I'm... Have you got any toilet paper?
Any bog roll.
Yeah.
So he had to kind of scrape together a few bits of paper, you know, and sort of tinfoil or whatever he could find in the house.
A cactus.
Come down
Oh, no.
Pass it underneath the door, right? And now then I said, can you move away from the door because I don't want you to hear me as I'm, you know, wiping the... And so
You
he
didn't
did
say that.
Yeah, well, I didn't want him to, you know, that's
What, sorry, what...
That's embarrassing.
What were you wiping it with? Not tumbleweed. What do you mean? What
No, but
noise?
I know what you mean.
Yeah. No, exactly.
Right.
So then I say, right, can you smash
Why
this-
was he hovering? Why didn't he want to walk away? Will you keep your... What was it? Outside with a glass to his ear?
Yeah. Thankfully, there was a window in the door, but it was frosted glass. You could just see my semi-naked body moving around. And so eventually I said to him, look, listen, I'm going to need you to sort of kick the door in. He said, well, I don't want to kick the door in because you're going to have to pay for it, aren't we? I go, yeah, but I got to go to the World Service. Well, yeah. And he was a lovely man. He's the weakest man you've ever come across. It's like if there's one person you don't want to have to throw their body weight against the door, it's him. It's like he'll snap before the door will. So he's smashing against
This
the door.
sounds like a fetish to me, though. He went in there, and there you were naked with lots of toilet paper. And you go, oh, you've broken the door down, and there I am naked. Again.
Oh, you've rumbled me, Rick. I wish I'd not told that embarrassing story on the radio. Like it wasn't embarrassing enough, you've just got to make it slightly more seedy.
Oh, so did he get it down?
He did it, yeah, and I got to the World Service with like minutes to spare.
Oh.
And interestingly, I told that story to 50 million people around the
You're
world.
joking.
Yeah.
Did they understand?
I think so.
I mean, is that a bit of a problem when you're on the World Service, like thinking of things that everyone can understand?
Yes.
Because you can't.
It's a bit
just
like
talk
when
about-
talking
Yeah,
to you, Carl.
yeah, exactly, Carl. I think you're on thin ice there, worrying about people understanding what you're saying.
No, but you can't talk about stuff that's on the telly and that, because some people say, well, we haven't even got a telly here.
Oh, yeah, you're listening to XFM 104.9. Play a record. Nirvana, All Apologies on XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais, obviously, with me, Steve Merchant, Karl Pilkington. Well, Steve, I met up with. I know it's forbidden, usually.
I don't know why you
Let me
keep
just
doing it.
explain to the listener. Me and Steve have got a little bit of a pact. We're not allowed to talk to Karl during the week because he comes out with too much dynamite, and we want it to be fresh, and it's just unfair. And if he sees us laughing, he clams up a little bit because he knows something's wrong with his head. So, I was in a pub, and Carl called. He was returning a call. I'd called you earlier, and I said, "Oh, I'm just across the road. Come over." And he came over, and we had a conversation. And I kept saying, "No, save it." And I can't remember half the things he was saying, but I do remember one thing he said. He said that the human eye never grows. He said, unlike your ears and nose that keeps growing all your life. He says the human eye never grows. Now there's a little bit of. He says, no, you look at a baby. It's got big eyes. It's got the same size eyes as it will have.
When
it's
a baby's born, everyone always goes, oh, look at its eyes, don't they? Because that's like the main feature.
Yes.
They're quite big. They don't grow. They don't get any smaller. They stay the same size.
What you mean, once you become an adult, you've the same sized
No.
eyes?
Soon as you come out of the womb, your eyes, the size they are as a little baby, they stay the same size.
Until
It's
you
just like
die.
the sockets.
And I pointed out to him, right, I said, if that was true, Steve Merchant, when he was a baby, with these eyes he's got now, would have looked like a hammerhead shark.
Alright, calm down. You don't want to go lay into the eyes.
Do you know what I mean? Just to prove my point.
I didn't laugh when
Good.
he said that.
Respect.
Do you know what I mean, though? Imagine,
I've got the eyes are the windows of the soul, and mine happen to be enormous
French
plate glass
windows.
windows. Yeah. But nevertheless, they're beautiful. Many people find them beautiful.
Yeah, they're great. Yeah, many people do. But
Do you know they don't have kneecaps either?
My eyes, or
what?
Babies. When they're born, they don't get kneecaps until they're about 2.
they don't get knees.
Is that true?
Yeah. And
What
Yeah,
are
it
you
might be
talking
true,
about,
it might
Carl?
be
That's,
true.
but isn't it a little bone in? It's part of the.
Well, no, but all
the leg bone.
you've got lot more bones when you're born than
Yeah, you got
eventually.
300 when you're born, then 205 when you're an adult.
Yeah, they all fuse, don't they?
Do they?
The head's got to be all soft to come out.
Right.
As we said earlier,
I would know. I'm a shark.
Oh,
So
God.
what did you say when he said about my eyes being huge?
Okay, get off it.
So that isn't nice, considering
Yeah.
he's not here.
Yeah,
So
talking
I
about
wait
him
until
going
he's
on
here when I slag him off.
Yeah, very well. No, nice one, Carl. You're an honourable man.
Oh, well, I know, you see, the thing is, right, that made me think that it might be a little bit of truth in this.
There is as well,
that-
the ear thing. Have you seen that with old
That's
men
true,
who have
yeah.
really long ears
Yeah,
and big noses?
yeah.
You mean
Do
they'll-
they eat buns and walk around in the jungle, these
I don't
old
understand.
men?
You mean that the ears and the nose carry on growing?
Yeah, they do, that's true. That's true, it's cartilage.
Yeah, but it's not like sort of Pinocchio.
No, after you're dead. You leave a body lying around, he's got a huge elephant type
Really?
ears.
If you left him long enough?
4-foot nose, that's what, yeah.
That's
No,
remarkable.
but it's about the focal length in your eye, you see, because it's like a big lens. So it makes sense that they couldn't change that much. Because an owl, do you know why an owl turns its head round? Sort of like 180 degrees.
No.
Because it can't move its eyes, because the eyes take up the whole, it's the biggest eye in the animal kingdom. The eyes take up the whole of its skull.
Really?
Yeah, and it has to move its, yeah.
Has it got a brain in there as well?
It's got a brain in there, yeah, above the eye, yeah. When I say the whole of the skull,
Quite, yeah. There's
yeah.
also some space for the brain.
what I meant is the the two diameters of the eye is the diameter of the.
You've lost me there with diameters. And
you didn't like maths, did you?
No, don't like maths. Never understood it. Couldn't get to grips with maths. I don't know about you, Carl.
Did you do maths, Carl?
Now, how did you do in your exams on the maths? Did you turn up? I bet yours was rather like my theory, which is why do you need to figure it all out when you've got a calculator?
Exactly.
Yeah, I knew it.
Yeah.
You're right.
And I agree.
Well, let's play a record, and afterwards I'm going to be testing you on your homework this week, Carl.
Could we do White Van Man first?
We could do, they've got to know what they're dealing with, yeah. Carl's homework was to read all about, as you know, Che Guevara.
Absolutely.
Last week he did well on Rasputin, didn't he?
Did very well on Rasputin. Yeah, passed with flying marks there.
Let's have a bit of Wu-Tang, shall we?
Then let's have White Van Man.
Yeah.
White Van Carl. No.
Yeah.
Don't erase none of that good shit.
Wu-Tang Clan there, Steve. XFM 104.9, I'm with Gervais, with me, Steve Merchant and Karl Pilkington. Now, I just remembered something else Karl's in the week. I know it's forbidden to talk to him, but I'll tell you this. He was very excited about the Friends Reunited. He was a bit nervous at first, wasn't he, last week? But he was really getting into it. And in the pub he was talking about the people, and he said, I'd never go on a reunion, though. So I'd never do that.
What, a school reunion?
Yeah, and he wouldn't want to see anyone. And I went, well, I said, wouldn't you want to see those two lads with the big heads and the webbed hands?
Oh yeah, these were people you went to school with, weren't they?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't knock about with them. They were in the class.
What were they called?
Freaks.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
And he said, no, I wouldn't want to see them. He said, because what could you say? Oh, you haven't changed much. Right. And he said, and they wouldn't go anyway, would they? I said, why? He went, well, they didn't have any friends.
Right.
And I said, well, weren't they friends with each other? And he went, no, that would have been too obvious. Like, they passed each other and went, no, I know it's tempting, but let's not.
Everyone would think that's just what we were going to do.
Yeah.
Let's not do it.
Yeah. So they didn't even hang around with each other.
No.
See, I must say, in my head, I've got something like it's like some sort of extra thing from Blake 7 that they're like some sort of lagoon monster, but they just had slightly oversized heads, did they?
See, does your head grow? Your eyes don't. Does your head? Because maybe they've got to a point now that it's all sort of caught up with each other.
Well, at the time, the eyes were very small and the head was huge.
Just a very big head. And
Yeah.
the fingers aren't going to change. That's not.
They had
Not funny.
webbed fingers.
It was like the penguin in Batman.
Really? Are you sure?
No, honestly.
Are you sure they weren't wearing mittens?
No, seriously.
Yeah, it wasn't home economics. They weren't getting some out of the oven, a very hot dish, were they? Every time you saw them.
But why were there two, but they weren't related and they weren't friends?
I don't know. I suppose it's like asthma and that, innit? Some kids have it. And it just was a
Yeah,
coincidence.
but asthma's quite a common thing. Webbed hands, Carl.
Yeah. I don't know. You don't think of it, do you, when you're a kid? You just sort of...
Oh,
when,
yeah,
when you first see them.
Yeah.
There goes the frogmen. Anyway, Carl, look, let's have a little quick session of White Van Man. For those that don't listen to the show regularly, the Sun, as you may know, has a section called White Van Man where a member of the public gets asked their opinions on the week's big political and social hot potatoes. Carl, we just thought it would be fun if you answered some of the questions. It's not so much questions, it's just your views really on these big news stories. What do you make of Olympic ski hero Alan Baxter testing positive for drugs?
What did he do?
Well, he won a gold medal in the Olympics, and
For what?
He was a skier,
Right.
and he won gold medal, and they've just tested him positive for some kind of illegal drug.
But what... if he did, why take drugs to ski?
Why?
Because all you do is balance.
But imagine, it'd be amazing if you were stoned, like going down a hill.
Yeah, it's not like you have
But
to...
it's not going to help you, is
No,
it?
it's
not
just
like...
gravity that's doing all the work, isn't it, with skiing?
Yeah, but it's often to do with your athleticism, isn't it? It's to
No, but
help
it'd be
you.
like saying, and we've just found out the people on the toboggan were on crack. It's not going to help them. You sit there and you go with the flow.
Yeah,
And you hold
could
on.
I say, the drugs he was
Apparently
taking...
that's his defence,
Probably,
Carl.
he probably wasn't jacking up H or, dropping a few E's or getting stoned. He was probably taking more sort of,
Steroids.
performance-enhancing drugs, as opposed to him just, scoring some shit around the corner from someone,
that
getting
doesn't-
off his tits and jumping in a toboggan. Doesn't mean that, does it?
He wasn't off his nut.
Yeah. You tested you pissed out your head.
But why doesn't he just say, don't be stupid, why would I do that? It's just not going to help me out.
But it is, isn't it? Because performance-enhancing
I don't
drugs
know,
do.
wait a minute, Steve, wait a minute. Carl, right, look at this way. Okay, look at me, yeah? Have I got his attention?
Yeah, the lights glinting off your ring there.
Yeah.
You're attracted to him.
Okay, right, now, keep concentrating. Right. Some athletes, you're aware they take drugs, that's to build up
Swimmers
muscle.
and stuff.
Yeah, swimmers. For
Runners.
example, runners, yeah. Not only do they help build muscle, right, but they can actually, give them a boost performance-wise.
Yeah.
They're sort of like steroids and all this sort of stuff. Right? So that's the sort of thing we're talking about, okay?
Right. So again,
He wasn't
why
on a bong
would that help
before.
you?
What?
Why would that help you when all you've got to do is balance on skis?
Not when you're at the Olympic level.
Yeah.
There's a lot to do with, your body and your
No,
legs.
it's practice, isn't it? It's like if you've skied for years, then you've got good balance after a bit.
Oh, do you know what, Carl? Do you know what? You've made a mockery of drug taking. Well done.
Yeah.
Right, next one, Steve.
I hate this bit. I hate this.
I don't know if you saw it. What did you make of Posh Spice's Warts and All documentary?
Yeah, I saw a bit of it.
What did you make of it?
I mean, people are slagging him off, aren't they? Saying, she's daft and that, but
Don't make you.
she's. I think they're all right, honestly.
Yeah, I think they're all right.
She's all right. I mean, I think David's really a decent bloke.
Sure.
Would
Would you agree that he's quite a simple man?
Yeah, but he's a footballer. He doesn't need to be. Do you know what I mean? It's like me.
Yeah.
Like, all right, I only got an E in history. But knowing about the Tudors doesn't help me press these buttons and put the next CD on.
No, sure.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, good luck to him, and he's done well out of it, and it's just
Yeah.
jealousy.
Yeah.
I remember, though, when I was back in Manchester, was in Piccadilly train station, and he was there, right? Not as big a star as he is now,
Yeah.
back then, but he was stood there, and I was so close to going over to him and saying, "Did you go to my school?" Because I recognised his face, but I didn't know who he was. Do you know when you sort of go, "Sure, I went to school, it's not the one with the big head,"
Yeah.
but I do recognise him. Then my girlfriend got off the train, and I said, "I'm sure I know him." She said, "Yeah, it's David Beckham." And I was
Oh,
so
thank
close
God
to
for your
going over.
girlfriend. Does she get an awful lot of scrapes, does she?
She does, yeah.
Okay, what
Sure.
about the fact that the pension crisis
Sure.
is going to force Britons to work into their 70s, Carl? You might have to carry on working into your 70s before you can claim a pension.
I think it's a good thing. Because you see a lot of old people who look bored.
Okay.
And I honestly think if you keep your brain busy,
Yeah.
you'll live longer.
Yeah.
It's only when you actually shut down, right, that's when your body sort of dies because it doesn't feel it has a purpose. It's like if you've got flu, keep going to work. If you have a day off, you just feel worse. You'll mope about at home. Doesn't do you any good.
What about,
whatsoever.
where do you draw the line then? What if you, say, lose a finger? Pop into work?
Depends. If you can't concentrate because it's painful,
But what if you're a typist?
Or
you're not going to
pianist?
type as many words, but you'll do more at work than you would having a day off at home.
Sure. Okay. Tony Blair turning trendy with his Paul Smith designed naked lady shirt. I don't know if you've seen this. It's the one with the pictures of naked ladies on the cuffs.
And, I mean...
Okay. And finally...
How's that? You see, this is what annoys me about this feature. It's just, what's that? So what?
Yeah, but it's the Prime Minister of this country wearing a trendy shirt with naked ladies on the cuffs.
All right.
Okay. And finally, what do you make of the fact that Top of the Pops have banned Will Young singing both tracks on the number one slot, and consequently he wasn't on there at all? They had to show the video. The first time anyone's ever made this demand. He wants to sing both the A and B side.
Well, he can't.
It's double A, yeah.
Double A side.
That's what they wanted to...
That isn't how it works, is it?
Yeah, I agree, yeah.
And the thing is, which one... I mean, at the end of the day, loads of people have bought it, haven't they? Isn't it
Yes.
like one of the
Yes.
best? So it doesn't really matter what it does, because people have got it, they can listen to what song they want at home. Doesn't matter about what Top of the Pops do.
Yes.
And it's just annoyed me now. It's...
Who's annoyed you?
Just what goes on in the world. I'll tell you, you're better off not knowing. It's better being in my little world. If that's what people are talking about on the streets and asking the white van man, do you know what I mean?
I think you're right, Carl. I think you're right.
Jeez.
Shall I play a lovely song for you? Because you're getting all stressed now, aren't you?
I've not had a good day.
No, I know. We tell you about it later. It's not having a good day. Well, I'm going to play a Neil Young track here of Harvest. It's Alabama. It's beautiful, and this is for Carl. Athlete, West Side. I still like that one.
It's a good track.
Yeah, I was worried it was a bit novelty. It would go off very quickly, but it's good.
No,
Very
it's not
melodic.
bad at all.
On XFM 104.9, I'm Richard Gervais, with me Steve Merchant, Karl Pilkington. Steve.
Well, we were talking about the news just now, and there was a story I heard in the week. I think it was on the radio, and I don't know all the details. But what I heard was that a number of, I think it was Falkland, maybe Gulf War veterans, were, I think, suing or complaining to the government because they wanted compensation for post-traumatic stress disorder. Now, I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but it seems to me that if you're in the army and you're a soldier, a certain degree of trauma is kind of inevitable. I mean, after all, if you're any good at your job, you are going to see people getting killed. So I don't understand what the ins and outs of it are. I don't know why.
No, when it came back and Tony Blair met him and go, all right, well, not really, no. Go on, what's the matter? Well, there was people shooting at us and everything, it was all muddy. Well, calm down, don't cry. Well, I will.
There was a drill sergeant just kept shouting, saying, look at you, stupid boy, where's this
he's
gun's
got a
not
train,
clean? And I
hasn't
just
he?
cleaned the gun and it was fine, and now he's telling me to clean it again.
Yeah, and the boots, they were shiny.
fine, he was
Well, he's
showing.
got to do that, it's more
His
discipline.
neck was as big as his head.
Well, yeah, but you don't know what they,
I don't know what the ins and outs of it are, but
what you got to do is make sure you know what you're going into. That's what I do. You got to check the small print. So if I was, going over to the Falklands or the Gulf, I'd put my hand up and go, will it be horrible? And I go, you at the back, yes. Will it be horrible? It will be horrible. Yes, it will be horrible. There will be shooting and lots of death and everything. I go, right. I'm not going to go. And they go,
Exactly.
okay then. Okay.
that should be fine, yeah.
Should be fine. Yeah, just like that. Is anyone else scared about this? Pretty much all of us. Okay, then we won't send anyone then.
Exactly.
My brother went into the army, right? Because he couldn't get a normal job, and my dad said, if you don't get a job by such a date, that's it, son. You're going in the army. And, so when was the Falklands? Was it about
81?
Right, and he joined back in like 81 or something. And he I don't know, he was in Aldershot or something.
Oh yeah.
And he wrote back to my mum saying, a bad time to join, bad time in this. So she wrote.
What bad time to join? That's so sweet, Carl, isn't it? That's like, dear Dad. Yeah, well done.
Don't know if you've noticed.
Yeah. I was on the dole, that's for sure. Thank you for joining. A month before the Belgrano.
Anyway,
go on.
My mum called up, spoke to the sergeant, and said, "Can you leave him out of this one?"
Can you leave him out of this one? What, the Falkland War?
He's only just joined, and she called him Chuck, which he got done for. Like, she's one of them, I think it's a northern thing, like saying, "How are you, Chuck?"
Yeah.
And she called the sergeant Chuck, and the sergeant said to my brother, your mum, she's called up and asked if you can not go, which, of course, we'll see how it goes. But can you tell
What
her,
do you mean? Why did the sergeant even entertain this?
Well,
Pilkington, come here. Your mum's been giving me a bit of earache. Now listen, tell her I've told you, but can you call her, because she called me Chuck and everything. Can you call her and say you don't mind? Well, not really. Oh, please, because I've promised her say you want to go. No, please, say you want to go. Why was he entertaining this phone call?
probably because he was new.
What?
Because he was new to the army, I suppose.
Who? No, I mean the
your brother.
sergeant.
I don't know, maybe they do that.
So what happened? He didn't go in the end?
So he didn't go, no.
You can't do it.
But that's ludicrous.
I love it that. Oh, we went over the top. Pilton,
No,
I've got a note. Yeah. Is this really your mum? Yeah. Okay, no, this seems to be in order.
Because I noticed it says, I do not want to go into the army, I don't want to go and fight, and it's crossed out and it says, my mum says don't
Yeah.
go. Now, you didn't write this yourself,
No,
did you,
no, my mum
Pilkington?
wrote this. Okay.
You definitely
Pilkington,
wrote this yourself.
Your excuse. You're going to have to fill envelopes.
No, I'm sure if he was needed, he would have had to go, but I think they made a bit of a special effort. They sort of said, oh.
Well, it wasn't conscription anyway. Oh no, I was
But were the other soldiers going around just going,
Pilkington.
No, he ended up being a mechanic in there, and he got kicked out for going for a packet of fags in a tank.
what?
Now wait a minute. Do you mean he nipped down the shops
Yeah.
in a tank?
Yeah.
I don't believe that, Carl. You've
Honest to
made that up.
God. That, and he went off with the sergeant's wife. So that didn't help, and he ended up getting kicked out.
Sorry, your brother's a genius.
I love this. First of all, he gets a call from his mum, go and let him up, and he goes, oh God. Then he goes, where's Pilkington? His mum's on the phone. Where is he? He's near your house, Sergeant. Near my house? Well, why is... No reason. Well, when he comes back, when he's finished, tell him his mum called. And can he get me a packet of fags? Tell him to walk this time. This is ludicrous.
So the sergeant found out that he was sleeping with his wife?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I was
Did
quite
your
young.
mum phone up and say, let him off?
Let him off
court-martial
this
him.
time. Can he... Yeah. That's fantastic.
But he misses it. I mean, I haven't seen him for about 11 years. But ever since he came out, he's just kept getting into trouble and that. And the army, people slag it off. But I think If you're a certain type of person, it's good for
It
you.
didn't straight him in. How did it?
No.
He was going down the shops in a tank. He was shagging someone
No, but
behind their back.
it's
Yeah.
really weird. It's like back then he was like a proper adult and he had a house and he collected crystal with his wife and that. And now he hasn't got any of that.
Has he got the wife?
No,
Has he got the crystal?
don't think he has.
And he hasn't got the
I
house.
seriously haven't seen him for about 11 or 12 years.
Oh,
So I
so
haven't even spoken
it
to
always
him.
Carl's stories always start off nice and funny, and then they just leave me empty and slightly depressed. I don't know whether to hug him or shoot him, put him out of his misery. Can we take Carl to the phone in if you think I should take Carl to the vet and have him put down? Because it's just too stressful. Hyde's main offender, XFM 104.9. Wow, it's that time in the show where I test Carl on his
Homework.
for the week. History, the re-education of Karl Pilkington. As you know, we found out last week that he'd taken one GCSE and he'd got an E, and it was history.
Do you know, Steve, I haven't told you this, went shopping on Sunday, buy some new jeans, was in a shop, saw an old lad who I haven't seen for about 2.5 years, went, "You alright, mate, how are you doing?" First thing he said, "Sorry to hear about your exam results."
God.
I
Had
just-
he listened to the show, or someone had
yeah,
just told
yeah,
him?
he was on a train listening to it on the way to a football match or something.
He knew that you were on the show, did he? He was a
Yeah.
regular listener.
First thing he said,
Wow.
"So sorry about your exam results."
Haven't people have been coming up to you in the station going, "You
Yeah,
alright,
alright.
do you want to talk about it?" Or
I
God.
know.
well, you did take it pretty badly for a 29-year-old man.
Just a bit of a shock because it annoyed me that
It wasn't a shock. You
No.
knew you hadn't got an E.
No, I thought I'd have got a bit more than that. I wasn't expecting,
But you didn't even think you took history, so that must have been a bonus.
Yeah, that's what my girlfriend said.
Yeah.
So, well,
But didn't
yes-
she say something quite philosophical, which was like, you didn't even have an E this morning?
Yeah, she said yesterday, you didn't have anything
Yeah.
but today,
Exactly.
which was good.
Yeah.
Mm.
But anyway,
Anyway, okay then, well, you were tested on Che Guevara. Right, Carl.
We should just remind people what happened, because
This
last
is a
week
little
we gave-
series. I've got lots of these little books, right? They're about like 2.5 inches long by about 2 inches wide. Those tiny little things you see in the sort of on the front counter of Waterstones or Smiths, and it's the Life and Times, a series of all the greats in history. Last week you read about Rasputin. You wasn't impressed.
no.
This
This
week,
book's a little bit thicker than the Rasputin one.
no, it's the same. I think was it? Maybe the writing's
Figure
smaller.
writing or something.
But okay, Che Guevara. Who was Che Guevara? Just now, you learnt to pronounce it, right? And how do you remember? You told me the week how you remembered what his name was.
Che is like shake, and his surname is like guitar.
Right.
Shavara.
Okay.
But anyway, right.
Tell us what you know, and we'll ask.
Right. First of all, his name isn't really Che.
Right.
It was something else, and Che means buddy
Okay.
in wherever he's from Argentina.
Mhm.
Right, that's right, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. So anyway, he was born, and he was.
By the way, Carl's not reading this from a book now. This is all out of his own head.
This
'cause
is not pre-planned notes.
No, this is. I mean,
He's
I know
never
it
held it.
sounds written, but he's just
Yeah.
Right.
riffing
Here
on
we
this.
go. Here we go.
Go on.
He was born. He had bad asthma as a kid,
Right.
which I thought was quite interesting because they didn't have cars and that back then, and that's what they're blaming asthma on these days. The bad build-up of traffic and that.
Well, they
So-
did have cars, Carl.
Not as many as they have now.
Okay.
So that was something I picked up early in
yeah.
the story.
He had asthma. Yeah.
His dad was into he wasn't a politician or anything, but he was, they were into the politics.
Sure.
So he sort of grew up around a family who was into, watching the news and that and keeping up to date on
Yeah,
what's going on
yeah.
in the world. So that sort of rubbed off on him. He went to school. He was doing stuff on medicine.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wanted to be a doctor, or he thought he did.
Yeah.
Anyway, he learned really quick. He did like 6 months work in about 3 months. So he could have some time off school or something.
Right.
So he took that time off
Yeah.
and went to travel South America with his mate
Okay.
on a motorbike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he saw all this bad going on in the world. And he thought, oh, this is bad, this.
Yeah.
I
Sure.
could do something here. I could
Yeah.
change this, make it a nicer place to live. So he said, what I'm going to do is join a gang
Right.
that sort of is against the like the government,
Yeah.
Right.
right? Am I right so far?
Yeah.
You're doing very well.
Right, and the woman who he met, who was like running this gang, is a woman called Hilda, who he later married.
All right.
And Hilda introduced him to Castro,
Right.
who was like the head cheese of the gang,
Right.
who wanted to change things.
Okay.
And so she said like this is I think his real name was Engelbert or something like that.
Ernesto.
What?
Ernesto.
She said this is Ernesto. He does medicine. Should have him in our sort of army. So
Yeah.
when there's injuries and that, he can make people better.
Yeah.
So he said, yeah, all right then. So he joined the gang and they went like went to sort of. I'm chopping it down a bit.
No.
Oh, sure.
isn't gonna
You're condensing
It's
it.
not. It's not in real time.
No.
So so anyway, so they go.
It feels like it.
You see, this is why I just wanted you to ask me questions.
Well, listen. Let's cut to the chase then. So,
Okay,
obviously, he made his name as part of the Cuban Revolution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what date that was?
About. No, I don't.
Okay. And obviously, so he was a big involvement in that.
Yeah.
And-
In which country was he caught?
It was caught in Bolivia.
Yeah. How did he die?
They executed him.
Yeah.
They shot him, and his last words before he died, right? The guy's there with the gun, and he wasn't scared. He wasn't like crying or anything. He said to the bloke with the gun, he said, "Go on, shoot me. Be a man."
Yeah.
He said,
Yeah.
and they shot him.
And did it tell you what happened to him after that? His dead body?
No, but Suzanne was telling me about this the other night. She said there's more to it than that. They stuck it in a glass coffin, didn't
Yes.
they?
Yeah.
Well, no, but before that, they cut off his hands and his
feet and sent them to the.
No, and because they buried him in different places, and then they buried the body. I think they might have sent the hands to Fidel, but they buried him in an unmarked grave because they didn't want anyone to start using his grave or his tomb as a place of martyrdom. But of course, that just made him even more of a martyr because no one knew where he was buried. So it just meant that he was even
but that
more
wouldn't
of an
work
icon.
anyway, because if they did find out, that's more places people can go and sort of grieve. Do you know what I mean? If you've got all these different graves,
What with different parts of his body?
well, you've got a foot over there, and it's like, well, you know, oh God.
His head over there.
Thanks for what you're doing.
Yeah.
So all in all,
essentially, what's your summary of Che?
yeah, you like him more than Rasputin, don't you?
A lot better bloke than Rasputin. I can understand why he gets one of those little books. Well worth knowing about, and good bloke. Did a lot, you know.
Crammed a lot into his short life.
Yeah, but yeah, interesting bloke.
But just on the subject of Che Guevara, Steve called me up in the week because he was going through the duty log. We love the complaints on the BBC duty log, and someone had written in because one of the Blue Peter presenters was wearing a Che Guevara T-shirt, and what did the bloke say?
Yeah, this is a series of people can phone in and write and complain to the BBC about different things.
Why would you complain about wearing something?
Well, this was the thing. Is you complain about the best one. I mean, there's been some amazing complaints.
Oh, there's some great ones.
The best one, my favourite one that wasn't a complaint, but was actually just someone had to phone in, was what an excellent edition of Kilroy this morning.
Yeah,
Which
but there's lots of that. There's things like Esther was superb.
Yeah.
Woman called one.
Woman called. There was a brilliant one I remember once, which was Robbie Williams was wearing a Nike T-shirt on Top of the Pops last night. Product placement on the BBC.
It's just all
So
things like
pathetic.
that. Yeah.
But anyway, this was one phone call. There was a presenter on Blue Peter. She was wearing a T-shirt with Che Guevara's face on it.
Right.
And someone had written in and said, or someone had phoned in and said, very worried to see a presenter wearing Che Guevara's face on a T-shirt. Are you trying to turn my children into communist revolutionaries?
Yeah.
Imagine that. Imagine who's thinking that. Who's bothering to phone up with that information, Carl?
Yeah.
Who knows what they're going to say about this show?
Yeah.
I mean, you've been championing the work of communist revolution.
Luckily, no one listening to this show can either write or operate a phone. So I think we're pretty safe. So thumbs up, Che Guevara.
Yeah.
Well done to Carl there.
Yeah, no, I thought it was
I did
brilliant.
all right, didn't I?
But the thing
Yeah,
is, Carl,
that-
you keep saying to us you don't understand why history's interesting, and yet you're clearly interested by that. You remembered that
Carl,
information.
I've got another.
Yeah.
I've got a few in the series. Can I give you your next week's homework?
Go on.
There you go.
Oh,
Read it out.
Hitler.
Hitler, the life and times of Hitler.
1889 to 1945.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know much about him?
What's the significance of that last date? Why did he? What was that last date, Carl? Why do you think he died in 1945?
End of the war,
Yeah.
which I'm interested in. So this will have stuff about Anderson shelters and that.
It might not be covered in the Hitler biography, the Anderson Shelter, but
Just check if there is a special Anderson chapter. Anderson Shelter chapter.
Well, I'll look forward to this.
Yeah,
It'll be interesting.
Powdered Egg is page 4.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, we're going to play a hip hop.
Yeah, it's time for a hip hop hooray. People are absolutely in love with this feature, Rick, as you well know, and I know you're somewhat jealous of it.
Yeah.
This week, I know that Outkast are currently on the playlist, aren't they, with their new single "Whole of the World"? Is that all? The whole world? Anyway, this is a track from the big compilation Outkast. It's just a sort of compilation of all their greatest hits, and this is a good one. It's called Rosa Parks. Play it, Carl. From their greatest hits album, that's Outkast, and a track called Rosa Parks.
Like it.
Yeah, enjoy it.
Now, we just had a call from someone impressed by Karl, and Karl's very pleased because this guy has actually done a PhD on Che Guevara. So, in theory, whatever subject he chose, in theory, he's probably one of the experts in the world on this particular field. Now, hello, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hello, what's your name?
My name's David.
David, now where did you do your PhD?
Did it at UCL.
Did it at UCL, mild college. And what was the actual title of the PhD?
It was Che Guevara's influence on class struggle in Europe in the 60s.
And what did you think of Karl's performance?
I thought he did really, really well. The only thing I'd never heard those last words before.
So Karl actually knows something you don't know.
Yeah, possibly.
Although you presumably not take that as verified information. You probably wouldn't take everything Karl said as gospel. You'd probably look it up yourself, would you?
I probably would have a look, yeah.
Did you know about babies' eyes?
Sorry?
Did you know that babies' eyes don't grow?
I didn't know that.
You see, that's why you shouldn't take
Yeah.
things Karl says as gospel. Because it'll come out with something, vaguely intelligent, and then say, did you know about babies' eyes don't grow?
Any questions that you'd want to test Karl on? Any thoughts, any things he missed there on the history of Che Guevara?
I think he did really well, and I think he should be congratulated.
Because Karl has problems with understanding why people are interested in history, and even though he's been reading these books, he keeps saying, why does anyone care about history? Why is it important? What would you say to Karl?
I think he should maybe then look at who Che Guevara did influence and why he still influences people today.
Yeah. Well, he knows that he influenced Citizen Smith, and he knows that if McDonald's ever wanted to swap Ronald McDonald for Che Guevara, it would cost him an awful lot of money. So he is trying to apply it to the modern world. He is having a go.
Well, maybe you should think like why Rage Against the Machine have him on their T-shirts.
Good point, Karl. Why do you think of that? Why do you think they have him on the T-shirts, Karl?
I don't know. Maybe that was a design of the T-shirt. Maybe they wanted another T-shirt.
Maybe they wanted Ronald McDonald,
but didn't have any in.
Sure.
And they said, "Oh, we'll have that one there." Then.
Well, thanks very much, Dave. Just before you go, do you think Karl would be an interesting subject for a PhD?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you're not.
Well, hopefully one day you'll become a professor, and you can maybe set that as some coursework.
I could do, yeah.
Karl Pilkington. Imagine that.
Cheers, Dave.
Imagine having an MA in Karl Pilkington. Thanks very much, Dave.
Okay, bye.
Cheers, bye.
That's good. My teachers never did that.
What encouraged you in that way?
Never said well done. So
Really?
Yeah.
But you never showed up.
Yeah,
No, but
you have to be in the same room,
They were too
really.
busy saying, "Who are you?"
yeah.
No, but Mrs. Matthews, me head teacher.
Oh, let's not lay into Matthews again. She's
Oh,
always getting a
not Matty
She
Matthews,
said
not
I'd never-
Grimble Matty Matthews.
I'd
we used to call
never
her.
be a high flyer.
If she could see you now. What did she say? You'll never be a high flyer.
She said that to me, mum and dad,
Really?
on a parents' evening.
And
that was after I'd played the drums in Little Donkey.
She clearly didn't know what she was talking about. The picture sold.
REM with Orange Crush on XFM 104.9. Well, nearly through, only 20 minutes to go. I'm Ricky Gervais, with me Steve and Karl. Karl, what did you point to me then?
Just reminded me.
Go on.
Orange Crush. As you know, we were talking the other night about contraceptives.
No, you said to me, I've got to do lots of homework. You look up how they used, in the olden days, how they used to use elephant dung as a contraceptive. And I went, what? And he went, no, look it up. You give me those things. I said, I don't know. Was it they put, when you're running around with dung on the end of your knob, no woman really wants to go near it. Is that how it worked? And he went, come on, you give me things to do.
If you've just written a PhD on how to use elephant dung as a contraceptive, please get in touch.
And I
Carl will
found
give the number in a minute.
It's not elephant, it was crocodile.
Oh, yeah.
Why?
But, yeah, Orange
Sorry,
Crush.
no, you can't. No, whoa.
What?
Back. What do you mean? It was crocodile dung. How did they use crocodile dung as a contraceptive?
I don't know.
Right, go on, Orange Crush, yeah.
So Orange Crush, what it was, I was trying to look up that, that thing about crocodile stuff, using it, and I came up with another one saying that they used to use a lemon, sort of shaped right, and the put it on, and the citric acid in it would kill the sperm.
Right.
So they would wear the lemon on the end of the knob.
Was that erotic?
It works.
Listen, I'll try anything, Carl, mate. If that works.
Yeah.
If the ladies like that. I mean, could it be anything? Could it be like, a melon?
Kumquat?
Yeah, maybe. In my case.
What's those hairy ones?
Yeah.
Anyway, it just reminded me when Orange Crush.
Well, thanks very much for that, Carl. It's and that I didn't even ask him to.
No.
Research that. He just-
So Orange Crush reminded you of the lemon contraceptive? Okay. Jolly good.
You could use it as a little lemon squeezer, couldn't you? It could be like a novelty lemon squeezer. You just stand in the kitchen, and then when someone wants to just come along and go on the end of your...
Did you make this lemonade yourself?
I did. It tastes funny. It tastes funny. Okay, yeah.
Anyway.
Carl, this is a quick question to you. Would you ever sort of find yourself in a situation where you might confuse a woman's breasts with mountains? Is that a concern for you, do you think?
No.
Not a problem for you?
Well, not if they're small and humble, I wouldn't.
That's what I'm hoping. That's what, fingers crossed.
If they were small and humble, then I'd pretty much not confuse them with mountains.
Thank God, but I mean, if they were large and sort of pendulous.
And with like quite rocky with snow on top.
Exactly.
Then I'd go, hold on, love.
Wait a minute.
Hold on, love. I was into this, but now
Exactly.
I feel like I'm alone.
Carl, do you know what we're talking about?
Who has done that?
I'll give you a
what?
clue. One more time. See, my breasts are small and humble, so you don't confuse them with mountains. Shakira. It's a lyric that
taking
me and
the
Steve are
nation
obsessed
by
with.
storm.
It's quite a nice song. It's got
It's very much like, it sounds a bit like Men at Work Down Under.
yeah, it's got the panpipes.
Is this what's its kid?
Who?
Julio Iglesias.
No, it's Shakira. Consequently, the word Shakira there being mentioned.
I haven't heard of him.
Okay. She's a big Latin star, apparently, big Latin American star. And anyway, just sing it again for us.
See, my breasts are small and humble, so you don't confuse them with mountains. Which is a concern. It was always a concern.
Definitely.
A number of times she's woken up and there's been a fat bloke with a beard and a little Sherpa. She goes, "What are you doing?" And they go, "We're just trying to climb this mountain." Look again. Oh, sorry, love.
Oh, it's your tits. I didn't realise.
Oh, your tits. We thought we were in
I can't believe it.
I can't. Well, can we camp here? You can't camp on my tits for the night. No.
Well, why are you climbing them?
Well, I just
'Cause
got
they were there.
confused. Well, they're small and humble. What are you mental? Carl, I love that look of Carl. Carl is looking back and forth. You know when you sort of you go to a cat and it looks back and forth between two people. That's very much like Carl's looking at us now.
Or when, like, a child sees a midget or something in the street. They're just transfixed, aren't they? And the parents go, don't stare.
When we were pushing Ash, just our producers, in a wheelchair, and we were pushing
He's
through
not
the
a
VC.
midget, we should make
No,
that
he's not a little midget. He's not tall. But we were pushing him through the VC, and this little kid just came up and just stood in front of him and looked at him.
Yeah.
I just laughed.
It was funny. Do you do that? I imagine that you get caught staring at kids.
Yeah, do you go up to people with problems and go, "Mummy, is that a monster?"
Well, I was telling you one about when I used to go with my dad in the taxi.
Oh yeah,
What
tell us
happened?
this story.
Well,
Your father was a taxi driver?
my dad he had loads of jobs, which they did back then. And they don't do that anymore, do they? People they don't sort
Have
of
a
do
variety of
loads
jobs?
stuff.
Sure.
But at one point, he had a black cab, and I used to go with him. He used to get a beer crate and put it in the front of the black cab, and sort of sit just next to the
Comfortable.
meter. And anyway, we got this call, and like the guy on the end of the radio said, "Oh, you've got your son with you, haven't you?" So he said, "Yeah." So it's just like, we've got to pick up at number 11 Village Lane or whatever. And he said, "All right." And it was this woman. It was like a woman version of the Elephant Man.
Wow. The Elephant Woman.
Yeah, it looked like... it looked like... It was really strange, because I was in the front of the cab, and when you're a kid, if something looks odd, you're a bit scared of it, aren't you?
Yeah.
And my dad was like, "Look, it'll be all right." And we're driving towards her.
Look, don't worry, son. I've got loads of buns.
And just to
I
give
think I'll
you-
just throw one down the street if you run after
You're
it.
being mean, right?
I am a little bit.
So
Yeah.
how old were you? 18?
No, I was about 12 or something like that. 11, 12. And as we got closer to her, it looked like she was holding like a bag of spuds on her shoulder.
For a snack.
Right.
and her head was all a bit mangled and messy and that. And my dad said, whatever you do, don't stare at her face.
Yeah.
And she got in the
Because
back.
you turn into stone.
Well, she got in the back, and I had like the mirror, the driver's mirror thing, and sort of having a look, trying to work out. And he said, don't stare at her face. I couldn't work out where her face was. It was that weird.
Oh, God.
So I'm not sure you're from Manchester. I think you're from, like, Narnia or something.
Yeah, you got frog boys walking around.
The Lord of the Rings.
That got, like, the claws of a lobster and the head of a toad.
Yeah.
And you got women getting in with spuds for heads. I mean, what
This is
sort
not
of, what
Manchester.
is
This is not the place you grew up. This is
Yeah.
mad.
Oh, you can't believe it in London, can you? You come down and you go, look, symmetry. It must be amazing.
It must be a thing to do with upbringing, though, mustn't it? And because again, do you know I've said to you before, years ago when I was a kid and didn't have any worries, good-looking lad, you go through it a bit, have a few more worries, and you look knackered. Now back there's a lot more worries and stuff, so you get a lot more freaks. Whereas in London, everyone's like happy, aren't they?
I love the fact that stress can cause your fingers to fuse and your heads to grow.
No, but if
She must have been really stressed to have a head like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. She was
Bag of sluts.
was she an accountant or something?
you know what I mean.
But what did she do? What did she say?
Where
when
was she
got in?
going, by the way?
She couldn't speak.
London Zoo, please.
I think she was going to like
To
a
the
pet
fair.
shop. Seriously, honest to God. On my mum's life, she was. Because at the end of the day, that's a good thing with animals. They don't judge you, do they?
She's not
She
an
was an
animal.
animal. She's a human
She's
being.
not actually an elephant.
No, but
You know the elephant man was not actually an elephant. You understand that? He's got no elephant genes in him at all.
No.
That was just a cruel name people gave him.
Yeah.
No, it's the name of the disease, isn't it? Elephantitis.
Look. So listen. So this woman, why was she going to a pet shop?
She was going to a pet shop. What, to find a husband?
Play a song.
Is this true?
No, it is true, yeah.
Oh,
But
God.
I'm not taking the mickey because it must be
So,
really bad for
Of
you.
course it
But
is.
Carl,
Oh,
I
we
need to
haven't-
ask.
I'm going on to you today about cutting myself shaving.
Yeah.
I was going on about that. To think that she's probably not alive now, but to think,
But you're saying that you're going to say this is a worse problem than a little cut shaving, aren't you?
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I
The
think
things
you're
that
right.
we
Carl,
worry about.
there's a couple of key questions I need to ask. One, if she couldn't talk,
Yeah.
how did she tell your father where to drive it? Did she have
Probably
it written
got
on a
some
note?
help
Did
for
she
at
point
home.
with her nose?
Yeah.
Right, this has got silly. Pick your song.
But and also, finally, where did you say she lived again?
It was like in a village, a little small village.
Right.
Just hidden out of the way.
All I'm saying is we could maybe get like some sort of coach, book some coaches, get a coach party up there to have a look at her.
So
Take some photos.
And now
You can make some lemonade.
the offspring of a woman and some spuds. Please enter at your peril. Give me a shiny shilling.
Wow.
Oh, that's terrible. Well, I'm going to play a little bit of Teenage Fan Club song for the lovers here. We left it very late, which has been just rapping with Karl P here, and this is I Need Direction. Teenage Fan Club. Oh, they're a good band,
They
aren't
are a good band.
XFM 104.9. So, well, we're nearly there. So, will your girlfriend be proud of you now? You performed a PhD graduate
It's a bit
there,
annoying because she's not in London today. She's in Sunderland or something, or Newcastle,
right?
working.
So she won't know what your greatest triumph. She saw last week's and you got an E in history, and now this week you come through
Yeah.
with some great praise that Mrs. Matthews never, laid upon
Even
you,
looked
did she?
at. Well,
No, just said you won't be a high flyer. Eh? You've shown them, haven't you?
you never know. I mean, I had mates who, my mate Colin Makin, who
Sure.
did the disco with me.
Pilkington making music, yeah.
Pilkey's making music.
Yeah.
He was dead brainy. I don't think he's up to much these days.
Sure.
You
Just-
can't plan it.
Yeah.
Just goes to show.
Well, I mean, you can do. There's a certain amount of planning you can do. I mean, driving a tank down to the shops with some fags
Yeah.
never going to mean you're a high flyer. You know?
And that woman who you picked up in your black cab, she's in a circus now and she
Yeah,
can
happy.
fly, which is good. Am I confusing that with a film? You went to see a film this week, didn't you?
Mm.
What
What
did you
did you
see?
The Monsters Inc.
Oh
Did you
yeah.
have a little argument? What was the argument about? Did you have an argument with your girlfriend or something? Because about
Well, the history thing took over last weekend, to be honest, when you found out my results. That was like the talking topic of most of the weekend. And,
why? What did she
you know,
say?
you brought it on yourself. Why didn't you take it serious?
Was she annoyed or upset?
Well, she just sort of said, you can learn. Look, you learned Rasputin. You know, if only you did
You've
that
done
at
that.
school.
You've done
Do you know what I
Rasputin.
mean? She said, you can do it if you're told to. She said, you know, it's only because Ricky's told you to read the book that you're reading it.
Does she think we're sort of like taskmasters?
Does she think we bully you?
Nah, she knows it's just a laugh.
Yeah. What did you tell your parents about your?
Nope.
No. Never.
Because they never even questioned where my results were, so I don't want to tell them that, you know, I didn't get any.
No. How did they do it at school?
Didn't have them back then, did they?
Right. When was that, Carl? The Middle
Ages.
I don't know. Like I say, back then it wasn't about getting results and that, was it? It was just about learning trades. I mean, my dad, right? He can like put windows in his house.
Yeah.
Do plumbing.
He should. It's dark, isn't it? He's done that first of all. Right.
So he can do what? He's got a multitude of different
Yeah,
jobs.
he can do all sorts. Do you know what I mean? If there's a problem in my flat, I can call him up and say, you know, this isn't working. What should I do? And he'll say like,
Is that our brain surgeon?
he'll say, oh, fix it.
Sure. So what about Monsters Inc? What did you make of it?
It's alright. It is a kids' film. It sort of annoyed
Is
me.
it?
Okay.
I was having like,
what gave that away? Do you think? Was it the songs? Was it the animation?
Yeah, the fluffy little things that squiggled round on the screen for an hour and a half.
it is annoying because like there's kids everywhere and kids don't watch films, do they?
No.
Do you know what I mean? They're messing
I don't know why they make kids films.
And you
To
can't-
be honest, it's mental.
Can't concentrate properly when you've got kids, you know,
Screaming,
making
shouting.
noise around you and that.
Yeah.
So I'd say my little review, wait until it comes out on DVD.
Okay.
What a great review that would be! Wouldn't that be great? Film 2002.
Yeah.
Jonathan Ross going, well, I don't want to give it away. Wait till it comes out on DVD.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, but not giving it away. It's just that you can't watch it properly when there's kids screaming around you.
Yeah.
sure.
Do you know what I mean?
What are you looking forward to this week? You going to go and see anything?
Just been talking to Ricky now because my missus is away. I'll probably get out a DVD tonight.
Yep.
Rounders.
Oh, right. Okay.
I thought you might like that.
And
It's
if you
like
can
gambling,
get, I mean, if I can get you tickets, say in the stalls or in a box for the stage version of Midnight Express, would you be up for that?
it's on ice.
'Cause I think it's the final year, isn't
It's
it?
lovely. It's Midnight Express on ice.
Yeah.
And it's a musical as well.
They're on roller
Do
skates.
you have any dope under your jacket? No.
Yeah. It is
And
well worth hunting out.
it's great. John Hurt is actually in this version as well, which is fantastic.
It is
Who played
brilliant.
the Elephant Man. So the universe all comes together.
Have you ever seen the stage version of The Elephant Man?
No.
You'd love that.
Yeah.
Who's in that? I have seen a clip of it. Who plays him?
I think they got a real guy with elephantitis.
Right.
Yeah.
What are you finishing on?
Let's have a final song for the ladies. It's from the album Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me by The Cure, and it's The Beautiful Catch. See you next
Goodbye.
week.
See you next week, everybody. Bye bye.
Xin chào tất cả mọi người. Và hôm nay bên em lại về một chiếc xe Kia Morning, xe van động cơ 1.0 số tự động, xe van màu đỏ, rất phù hợp với phụ nữ. Xe này là xe 2 chỗ, động cơ 1.0, nói chung là rất là tiết kiệm xăng. Morning là một trong những dòng của Kia, nhỏ gọn, tiết kiệm nhiên liệu, giá thành rẻ, đi phố rất là phù hợp, nhỏ gọn. Và con này thì nó cũng hơi bị bốc sinh một chút đấy, ăn sắt xi, vì vậy là giá của em nó rất là phải chăng. Tuy nhiên trước khi báo giá, em sẽ quay tổng thể chiếc xe. Xe van thì là rằng rất là đẹp đấy. Về che mưa, xe màu đỏ rất là chất. Con này bốc sinh ở phần sườn bên phụ. Kia Morning. Nói chung là quay thì cũng chả có gì để review. Còn về phần tổng thể mọi người xem, mọi người biết thấy rằng là nó còn khá đẹp. Tuy là nó đã bị đâm đụng nhưng mà đã làm lại, vì vậy là còn khá đẹp. Đèn đi cũng rất là sáng. Và lốp la răng cũng rất là đẹp. Nội thất bên trong thì các bạn có thể thấy rằng vô lăng thì chưa bọc, DVD theo kem nổi, cần số rất là mới, phanh tay, da ghế ở chính thì đã được bọc, hàng ghế sau thì đấy, thì nó là xe van, vì vậy là xe chở đồ 2 chỗ thôi. Mua những con xe van thì được cái giá thành nó phải chăng rất là rẻ, nhưng chỉ đi được 2 chỗ. Đó, xe chỉ có thế thôi. Em quay rất là chi tiết luôn. Đây, mọi người có thể em quay đi quay lại cho mọi người xem. Đèn rất là sáng, mặt ca năng. Em nhìn rất là ưng ấy, vì là xe nhỏ gọn màu đỏ, phụ nữ đi rất là tuyệt vời. Nói chung là rất đẹp. Đấy, nói chung là xe thì chỉ có vậy thôi. Và giá của em nó hiện tại nó được giao bán là 99 triệu. Ai mua thì liên hệ sớm. Thế rồi, xe 2012 xe van Kia Morning 1.0 đã bị bục sinh vào sân G. Xin chào tất cả mọi người.
Merchant, hello there. Karl Pilkington.
Alright.
Don't be nervous. We might see a difference in Karl. He's a little bit shy. There's someone here from the BBC filming this, part of that celebrity boxing thing. The Fight, I think it's called, and they want to get a little clip of this, so we're gonna let them film for a minute, and then they're gonna go away. Is that alright, Karl?
Yeah.
He doesn't want to be on camera, do you? Do you?
I think it ruins radio, doesn't it? Do you know
Well,
what I
not
mean?
for the people listening, it doesn't.
Yeah, but it does, because people are like, oh, he sounds like a bit of a looker.
What, you?
Yeah. And then they'll see it on the telly, and they'll go, God, yeah, you know, his head is round.
It is round, though, isn't it?
So,
Guess what? I got a call yesterday, you'll love this, Steve. From MTV. And, wondering if, they could screen test Karl.
That's outrageous.
I'm loving it, and I was going, yeah, and I said, yeah, it's fine. I'll come down with him, and I was saying, what about this and that, and they were loving it. I called him up and went, oh no. I went, why not? He went, well, I'm looking at my reflection now in the mirror. He said, I shouldn't be on the telly.
What would you wear for your screen test, Karl? What kind of look would you try and cultivate? Because you've got to bear in mind that the audience out there, they don't know what you look like. So, would you be a snappy dresser like, say, Jonathan Ross, or would you go for your kind of street cash look?
Can't wear a suit.
You can't wear a suit?
Don't hold it well. So, I'm thinking, I don't know, I'll probably wear my woolly hat, because that takes some years off me.
It does, he looks about 10 with a woolly hat on.
Yeah.
Okay.
And,
is it quite a cool woolly hat, or has it got a bobble?
it's charcoal, I'd say it's the in colour.
Yeah, okay.
And I'll probably wear me anorak.
Right.
Oh, he's going for the, he's going for glam. He's going for quite a glam look.
Yeah, no one else has
dressed
done
for
it.
a jumble sale. Wow. Yeah.
But I'm not that happy about it all, to be honest.
Are you going to do it? You're not going to do it?
Well, I'm sort of stuck in the middle, because throughout my life so far, I've never planned for anything, right? It's just always happened.
Yeah.
The time, you know what I mean, being in plays at school, never planned it, but when I did it, I went down a storm.
It was a
that sort of
triumph,
thing.
yeah, we all remember that.
So,
As I remember, you did Little Donkey.
did Little Donkey, yeah.
And then later, someone was filming at the back. Was it your dad's mate?
My dad's mate.
Yeah. And on the camcorder, he listened to it back, watched him playing it. His dad says, just off camera, what does he say?
I don't want to say it, because I'm in charge of the show, and I'd be irresponsible.
He looks like a right twat.
So,
And so he gets home, listening, watching that, and then here's his dad, just off camera, go, he looks like a right twat.
yeah, alright, yeah.
What are you worried about? Your dad saying that
Sorry,
on the
can I
word.
just interject? Because I'm really worried about this idea of Karl being on MTV. Because the problem is that, you know, let's be honest, Rick. I mean, we're getting by the skin of our teeth, aren't we? Really, it's only Karl that's keeping this afloat.
Yeah.
And if he gets on MTV and the world sort of gets a sense of him and they understand him, and he won't be ours anymore. We won't be able to control him. It'll be out there. It'll be in the public domain.
That's the thing. No, that's the thing. That's the terrible thing, though, isn't it? It's like Karl is my pet, but I realise I've got to release him into the wild. And you know, because I love him, I know he's got to go free.
Sure.
But I wanna.
It's like Kez. Maybe someone will beat him to death, and we won't have to worry.
I'll have you on though. I'll have you on as a guest. Which gets me on to something we've got coming up today.
Oh yeah, he's got a new idea.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you know, like, I've talked about ghosts, and we had that good discussion the other week walking to Piccadilly Circus Station, and I was telling you about ghosts, and you were saying, Karl, don't be an idiot, and all that. Spoke to a woman in the week, done a little interview with her.
You've done a little interview?
Done a little interview, 2 minutes or so, with a woman who's got ghosts in her house. So,
I look forward to hearing that later. That sounds brilliant.
Coming up later.
Well, I'm going to play a classic tune now. I've just gone straight for it. I've gone for the jugular. This is Ziggy Stardust by David Bowie. Ziggy Stardust by David Bowie on XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais, with me, Steve Merchant, and Karl Pilkington. Karl's also nervous. You had a bit of shock last week, didn't you?
Just a little bit.
His dad tuned in.
To the show?
Yeah. And Karl's never told him that he actually speaks on the show. He just said, I just press the buttons, right? He's kept him from it. You used to do radio before and you never told him, did you? It's because the little donkey incident.
Yeah.
When he went along, so...
Was that the twat incident?
Yeah. And so he's never told him since, but they've promised not to listen, haven't they?
Well, my mum said to me, don't worry, don't be put off this week, because, you know, I've told him he can't listen, but I hear my dad in the background kinda going, Alex. So, he might be listening. So that's extra pressure. Plus a camera crew in.
I know. You don't like it, do you?
This is good training for MTV, because then he can watch you on TV. I mean, what's he gonna make of that?
Oh.
Yeah.
Does he know you're bald?
Yeah.
You don't keep your hat on when you're with him and say, oh no, I'll just press the buttons.
No, it's just, you know, it's like when I was in any plays, I didn't tell him.
No.
Any sort of parents' evening, I never gave him the note.
Really?
Yeah.
So what did the teachers think? You were just an orphan?
No, just on an off chance. My mate's dad spoke to me dad once, I think, and sort of said, oh, you going to school to see how, you know, your kid's doing? Is that what you're talking about? He said, there's a parents' evening, so he went
said, what kid?
He went to one, and that's when Mrs. Matthews said I'd never be a high flyer.
How wrong was she?
Yeah.
I think we should call Mrs. Matthews and make her eat her words.
Well.
She'd turn on to MTV when, I don't know, like their slamming session.
Yeah.
And they go, that's young Pilkington. He's bald, but it's definitely him.
I recognise that woolly hat.
yeah. Did you see Celebrity Fit Club yesterday?
I missed it. I didn't watch any TV this week. The only TV I watched was, Are You Good in Bed? I already knew the answer.
What was it? You had to have to tick points?
Yeah.
Right.
It was no. I was off the scale.
Well, talking off the scales, Rick Waller.
Really? Is he off? What's happened?
What he did is he lost weight and they couldn't believe it, and he had a big argument with Harvey and they said go, never come back to it, right? And then he got to weigh and he'd lost sort of like 10 pounds or something. And they were really, they said, you've been starving yourself, haven't you? And he admitted it. And
I thought he just wasn't wearing his underpants.
yeah. But he was whinging all the time. He was watching it, he was doing it at press, it was going, I've hurt my arm. Then he was going, I feel sick. Then he was going, and he was just lying all the time about whether he was doing the routine and what he was eating and stuff. And I thought, that's me with this celebrity box. It is, because it's sort of like, and they go, how's it going? Do you have a drink this week? And I go, no. Haven't had a beer this week, no. Did you do the exercise today? And I go, yep. Yeah, I've done all that. Yeah. And I try and get out of the sparring because it hurts, because there's a man hitting me in the face for fun.
Right. Because you know that's what boxing is.
So, yeah, that is being hit, yeah. I like all the bits, except the being hit. I don't even mind hitting someone.
Right,
I'd be willing to hit someone. It's the getting hit that I don't like.
Because I know you're a big fan of, like, wearing the clothes, the sort of sporty gear.
I'm looking good,
you look good, and you've obviously spent a bit of money.
They gave me this to train.
Free of charge?
This was free to train.
That's a perk you love.
So,
and I know you like, kind of the sort of various sort of nutritional drinks you've got to drink. I know you're a big fan of those.
I love the protein shake, because it tastes like chocolate. You know what? I've put on a couple of pounds since I've been doing this training. Right. I think it is the extra meal, and
so you're adding the protein, but not working out enough to take it off again.
Yeah, but I think I have actually changed a bit. I've got an inch on my chest, but an inch off my waist. So even though I've put on weight, there must be a little bit of muscle happening somewhere.
So just to recap there slightly, you're enjoying all the trappings of boxing.
Yeah.
But not the boxing.
Not the getting hit in the nose.
Right.
That's the one.
And you are aware that that's what will be happening during the actual fight?
No, because I've got a cunning plan.
Okay.
I'm gonna duck and dive. And bob and weave, dance. I'm gonna dance.
Well, I read in the paper yesterday, I don't know how much truth there is, that Grant Beauvais has recruited celebrity hypnotist Paul McKenna to help him win.
Yeah,
so I don't know if that's of any truth, because I know you've got Spit the Dog. You've got a couple of ventriloquists and an impressionist on your side.
I've got Pork Pie from Desmond.
Yeah, exactly.
Just getting me tuned
in your corner.
Mentally. Yeah. Well, I don't know. It's all a bit of fun.
What do you reckon, Carl? Do you think he's in with a chance?
What's McKenna going to be doing? Is like Grant Beauvais going to be turned into a chicken and... You know what I mean?
He's going to do an Elvis impression and take off
if I say the right words.
No, I think he's probably going to just help him focus
I think there's lots of sports psychologists out there at the moment getting people. So I'm sure it's valid. If it's true, I'm sure it's fine. But I've been getting tuned mentally, learning how to hit.
Yeah,
that was my method. Eating and hitting, I think is.
And do you work out to any music? I mean, do you put on the Rocky soundtrack? Because I know you've got a special CD with music from all 5 films, haven't you?
No, we don't. It's I think they have the radio on down there, but you don't hear it. It's all you hear is people shouting, saying things like, "That's not like a fighter," and me going, "I'm not a fighter. I'm a comedian."
And is it quite intimidating down there? I mean, do they? Yeah. I mean, I'm sure they're nice people, but
I'm getting used to it now. But it is a different world, and I was quite scared, and I didn't.
When you say I mean, is it like they're gangsters? I mean, is it kind of?
No,
I don't mean. I just mean, has it got that feel? You know, when you see it in films, they walk into those places, and you know, they're hard nuts, and there's that feel like.
Well, they're all they're all ex-boxers and stuff. So yeah, but I mean, but no, they're not. No, that's not. I mean,
I suppose it's like they're real men.
Well, yeah, and they don't understand really that I don't like getting hit on the nose. And they say, well, no one gets hit on the nose. And it took me a long time to get over that. Just taking a couple of punches.
Yeah.
I wanted to rule it out. Yeah. And but you know, it's okay now. And of course I know they're mollycoddling me. They're not. They're using about 25% power, and I'm still.
And you wear the headgear, do you?
Oh yeah, and the gum shield. Yeah, I wanted to wear a crash helmet, but they said no. And carry a baseball bat, and they said that's technically illegal. But I'm looking for a changed man, Carl. What we got coming up?
Got a bit of a Death in Vegas with vocals from Liam Gallagher.
Final question for you, Rick. Do you think you'll carry on boxing after this is finished?
Competitively?
No, just the training and stuff.
Yeah, I do the training. So? Yeah, I love that. I love the training. I love learning the skills, and I do enjoy the training. I don't relish getting punched around. And I'm not worried about the fight at all. I'm really looking forward to the fight, because Grant's a novice like me. It's just when you get in with an ex-pro who, could destroy you so you're scared to hit him. And they never lose their rag, and they're really cool, and they're really nice, and they've never even hit me by mistake. But even just tapping you like that in the face hurts.
I was walking down Finchley Road and a couple of sixth-formers said, "Oh, you lanky goggle-eyed freak," and I just wondered if maybe you could pop round and have a word with them.
I will.
Some of your friends.
An enemy of yours is an enemy of mine.
Good.
Scorpio Rising, Death in Vegas on XFM 104.9, Steve. I'm Ricky Gervais. Carl's a little bit less stressed now. There's a camera crew have gone, his dad's not listening, we think.
Well, yeah, who knows? Who knows?
But, you're chilled.
I tell you what though, my mum was loving it. Do you know Rockbusters?
Do I know Rockbusters? I love Rockbusters. I think I dream of it.
She was taking part. I mean, she doesn't know a lot of the new bands and that, but she made some up for some older bands and that.
Oh, she did some herself?
She made some herself, sent them in the post.
So are you going to use those today?
She's not quite got the hang of it.
Okay. So, unlike her genius son.
Have you got them there? Can we hear what they are?
You keep talking a second then.
I'm quite excited. I mean, if they're even approaching, say, the genius of Wet Knee Houston.
Yeah.
There was another one which was something to do with a trench, Carl. What was that?
That was Dandy Warhols. That was a good one.
Dandy Warhols.
I think that was his finest moment. Yeah.
Incidentally, I've had an email here from someone called Sauda, if that's a he or a she, but let's assume it's a she, just for glam's sake.
Yeah.
She says she saw an old man eating a Twix last week, Carl, so that blows your theory out the
I'm not having it.
Okay. So if you are a bloke, he's calling you a liar, so maybe you want a little rumble later?
In fact, if you are a bloke, he's calling you a girl.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah, then. These are ones that my mum's made up.
Brilliant.
Right, just in case you're a new listener, I'll give some initials out and a cryptic clue. and it makes up a band, doesn't it?
Yeah. Or a solo artist.
Yeah, not so much cryptic as what you're thinking.
Well,
go on.
My mum sent this one. This group would be good at doing your hair.
This group would be good at doing your hair.
TP.
Is there a group called the Hairdressers from the 60s?
This group would be good at doing your hair.
TP.
TP. Is it the something?
The Platters.
The Platters.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, so that's alright.
Nice.
Let's have a look. This group sound like dinosaurs.
Group sound like dinosaurs.
T-Rex.
T-Rex.
Yeah. I see what you mean. They're not so much cryptic, are they?
This group...
Leave her alone. They're good.
This group likes being by the sand and the sea.
This group likes being by the sand
Are they the Beach Boys?
Beach Boys.
This band are called the Beatles. The Beatles.
Hang on. We just have a...
What else you got?
It's funny because one of them that she's done, I'm actually doing today. I thought of in the week.
Right?
So,
is it the same clue?
It was, yeah.
Wow,
But
great minds think alike.
Here's
So
the
this
last
is obviously
one.
coincidence.
Here's the last one from her. This guy sounds superb.
This guy sounds superb.
The Bachelors.
Glenn Campbell.
Not bad,
That's
actually.
good. I like that.
I'll tell you this, I think you should get onto one of the big game, organisations, Parker Brothers or whatever, because this has got to be, I mean, this could sweep the nation at Christmas. Don't you think this is the perfect Christmas game?
Yeah.
Well, I think this is what's going to make or break the MTV thing. to be
Right.
honest.
Some kind of TV version.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I'm just thinking into ad breaks, you know, coming up next is this band.
Be careful though, Carl, because, you know, make sure you retain the rights, because I can see this selling abroad. You know,
Yeah,
you could
and I
solve
can see
America.
someone coming along and taking the sort of like the Rockbusters and changing one word and making another like another game out of it and just
What
using the
sort
same format.
What
I
do you
don't know. I don't know. I can't think of there, but they could change. So
Sort of like...
they change the word rock to something else and have it.
What could it be? Brick, block?
Yeah, and so you have to, you know what I mean? So
Like
be
Blockbusters.
careful.
Yeah.
Blockbusters will never work.
Look at his little face.
So yeah, so we're doing that later. Got some good prizes.
Okay. We'll talk about the prizes
about
afterwards.
that in a bit.
Yeah, yeah.
Educating Ricky.
Yeah, got
Like
that.
We've got the woman who's got a ghost in her house.
Yeah. It's a shame she's not here live, because I feel like I want to ask a few questions, Rick. I don't know about you.
Don't worry, I've covered it all.
You've covered it all, God.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, play a record.
Rick, I know probably you, like me, are just too busy really to keep abreast of new music, aren't you?
Yeah.
I mean, we're busy people, we've got, you know, important showbiz parties to go to and stuff. That's why I have friends of mine who send me compilations and stuff. That's one of my, quarterly compilations from my friend Harry, and that's All Downhill From Here by Jim O'Rourke.
I've got a new track coming up later, actually, that I think you
look
might
forward
like.
to
So,
it.
you know,
Excellent,
we're inflaming each other's desire for new songs as well as going back to the back
Into the
catalogue,
box.
some classics.
Sure.
Alright? I love adverts better, though.
I do.
I love adverts.
It's weird.
Missy Elliott on XFM 104.9, Ricky Gervais with me, Steve and Karl. Karl, why have you got a headache? You got a headache?
just a bit stressful because the moves on this week.
Are you leaving house?
Oh, by the way, the XFM listeners came round to my house and bought the futon and table.
Did they?
Well, they're happy with it.
Quite normal. They were well happy.
Yeah.
Couldn't believe the luck with it.
What do you mean quite normal? What do you mean quite normal?
Well, it's always a bit scared, isn't it, getting people round.
I imagine they were scared.
Well,
And were they excited to see you? Could they, I mean, they were, you know, could you tell that they were pretty pleased to see you?
no, I don't think so. I mean, you know,
You're
but-
Karl Pilkington.
yeah, but the fellas sort of, I mean, they brought the whole family round, which was a bit odd.
Well, it's not often they get the chance to visit a living freak.
Anyway, no, they were nice. They were
And you're
nice.
moving now, yeah? He said he phoned me up today. You know, it was absolutely tipping it down. Right? He had to cycle in. Right? Because he said, because of the move, he doesn't want to leave his bike round there. Right? And he said, and Suzanne, oh, I can't say this in case he's listening, can I?
He won't know. will he?
He said Suzanne's hired the oldest removal man in London.
You should hear him. And the thing is, right, we booked him because everyone else happened to be booked out, but this fella's free, right? So he called up this morning, I've never spoke to him, but he was on the phone, he sounded about 90.
Yeah.
Can't think that he's gonna have to do all the work.
And the thing is, right,
Cheap.
it seems
He
to be
only
cheap.
wanted some Werther originals.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
listen, it seemed to be cheap because it's £50 an hour. But how long is it going to take him?
Yeah.
that's
So-
genius.
When's the move on then? When's the
Oh, he's coming round. He came round today to bring some empty boxes, and he was struggling with them. So it actually happens on Wednesday.
Oh, God.
Anyway, so
Rich, I noticed that you were laughing and almost had a heart attack. Doesn't bode well for the boxing match, does it?
Cough at the moment, and I've had my Lemsip.
Anyway, what we're doing now, Carl?
well, I teased you with it before.
You gonna get it out again?
I'm always like trying to get you, you know, thinking, opening your mind up a bit to ghosts and stuff.
Yes.
So this woman who I know, she said she'd come in and I could interview her to try and sort of, you know, get the belief out there.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
I
because
thought
there's not enough belief in the occult and rubbish out there.
So does she think she has a ghost?
she has, yeah, she's
got a
had a few.
She has, no, it's fact.
Yeah, no, it's
Fact,
true.
yeah, she has.
So I thought maybe it's a new feature we could try for a couple of weeks, see how it goes down. You know Parkinson.
Uh-huh.
What about Pilkington? Welcome to Pilkington.
Thank you.
My guest today is Taryn. She's a plugger. You're still a plugger, right?
No, do co-management.
Right,
now.
she does co-management, but she was a plugger. She looked after Therapy, Raging Speedhorn, Slash, all the big names, yeah? But we're not here to talk about music today. We do a lot of that on XFM. Today we're talking ghosts. Now, Ricky and Steve, who I do the show with, they're not having any of it. So I said, well, I know someone who, you know, gets on with ghosts. There's a lot of them. So I thought I'd get you in today, have a little chat for a couple of minutes, just to sum up the story so they get an idea of what happened. You had a horse, yeah? You had it in some stables.
Yeah.
He hasn't let her speak yet.
You went to, like, look after it and that, play around with it, take it for a ride
Went
and
out
that.
riding,
Yeah. Two of your mates were in the stable where your horse is.
Not my stable, in the opposite stable.
In the opposite stable.
And I heard them giggling and
Been
getting
messing
up to
about and
something.
that, yeah. You heard them having a laugh. So you thought, right, what are they up to? So you go in, and they're messing about with a Ouija board.
Yeah.
Right. So, this is where you come in. Did you get involved with the Ouija board?
Unfortunately, I did.
Right. And what happened then?
I was like, oh, you don't believe in this? Oh, let me have a go.
Right.
And ask a few questions, put our hands on, and it actually started moving.
So a lot of the stuff you asked it, did the things happen that you
Yes,
asked?
they did.
Right? So that's scary for a start, right? We haven't even got to the ghost bit yet. So you mess about with
Trap
that.
soul,
Yeah.
I like to call
Right,
him.
trap soul. So you're messing about on the Ouija board, you say, right, I've had enough of this now.
Yeah.
I've got all the answers I need.
Yeah.
You go home,
I didn't like them.
you go in the house, and it's a bit nippy.
The flat is absolutely fine. It's when I went into the bedroom. You've got to remember, it's a very, very warm, hot evening.
Right.
And walk into the bedroom and note it is cold, colder than usual. But I'm actually quite glad because it's so hot.
Right, okay.
Completely ignored the fact that the windows were all shut, but the curtains were blowing. Didn't sleep well at all.
Right.
Next evening, same again.
Freezing.
Yeah,
Wind-
very, very noticeably colder.
Curtains blowing.
Yeah, I'm fast asleep, get woken up, the wardrobe's opening.
So at this point, this is where we clear up. You're not on crack. You're not
Oh, never touched drugs in my entire life.
you're not a drinker.
No. I will have the odd glass of red wine.
Yeah, right. That's all right. They recommend that anyway. They say it's good for your heart.
What started happening was, as the week progressed, I also felt the bed covers at one point at night fold over, double bed, the bed covers fold over, and it was like someone was getting in the bed next to me. But you've got to remember, when you're in a deep sleep,
Yeah.
you're not quite thinking, and you're thinking, I'm losing it. I was getting more and more tired, more and more a little stressed. I'm really thinking I was having a breakdown. The final straw was when the clothes on the end of my bed that I just throw hit me.
How come you were going back home at night?
Because I was sceptical. In fact, 6 months ago, I just said, I don't want to go there. People will think I'm mad. But you know what? I don't care.
Yeah.
I know there's more out there.
Well, brilliant. Well, cheers for that, and thanks for being a guest on Pilkington.
incisive investigative journalism there.
I like the fact that you've learned a lot from Parkinson, even stealing some of his questions, like, are you on crack? Which I know he always asks his guests.
Yeah. I like the fact that when she went, I don't know, I have the occasional red wave, well, that's alright for you. Good for your art. That was great.
It was brilliant.
That is the best interview technique I've ever heard anywhere.
I feel like there's still some questions unanswered.
Yeah, it hasn't proved it to me, I'll be honest,
No,
Carl.
it's
It hasn't proved me the existence of ghosts
I have to
and
say, Rick, that
poltergeists.
I was worried as soon as she got involved with the Ouija board. I was thinking, please do not get involved with that Ouija board.
Yeah. I was worried when she said I heard some giggling coming from the other stable.
Yeah.
Don't go over there. Don't go over there.
It's, what questions did she ask the Ouija board? You didn't ask her that, I noticed.
She didn't want to.
She didn't want to say?
No.
Okay.
Do you think it was something like why that you did to try and confuse the computer, and the spirit world got really annoyed, and they got confused, and they came back and started messing up her clothes?
But what do you think then? There's
What do you mean? What do you mean, what do I think?
What do you think? Do you know what I mean?
What about what? There's nothing I can answer there. There's nothing I can answer.
Alright, she said...
Well, I'll just keep saying I don't believe in the existence of ghosts. Because of the impossibility.
Right. Now, when she said... I mean, the interview I did for 50 minutes.
You did for how long?
50 minutes.
50?
But I
50
thought,
minutes?
yeah, we might use that at Christmas or something, right? But the thing is...
Well, that's
right,
the best you got out of 50 minutes.
No.
They're the highlights.
No, I'll be honest.
MTV are not going to call again.
I'll tell you what, right? It did get a bit dark, and I didn't want that
Don't want to
sort of
spook
stuff
people
going
out
out,
Saturday
right?
afternoon, yeah.
But I can understand the heating thing. I said, well, you know, in the full interview, I was saying, you know, that could be anything, couldn't it? Heating broke or something. Now, she said what else was she talking about?
Someone got into the bed next to her.
Yeah, I mean, I sort of said, well, you know, how did that happen?
Yeah.
And she couldn't explain it herself, but
Sure,
I said,
sure.
but it did wake you up. Maybe you're a little bit sort of, still
Although
tired.
the only explanation I can think of, if she didn't actually see anyone, is well, it was a ghost.
Yeah, well, that was
She's
my...
probably got a ghost getting
But
in
what
bed. Go
about
on.
cupboards opening and shutting?
See, again, the only explanation for that is a ghost.
Yeah.
Well,
I can't think of anything else.
Play a record. It's got to be a
Yeah,
ghost.
it is ghost. I think you've proven it to us.
Yeah, a spirit.
Street spirit?
Yeah.
Nice. Whatever.
Hey. Street spirit. Radiohead. So, turns out ghosts do exist after all, Steve.
A woman what Carl knows proved it.
I've got egg on my face.
Yeah.
On XFM, 104.9.
Instantly, Rick, I should just encourage you and everyone else listening.
I
James
really have got egg on my face, is that what you're going to say? Yeah, I've just been eating an omelette.
James Randi, a hero of yours and a hero of mine.
Yeah.
He's on TV this week on Horizon. I think it's maybe Thursday. Check press for details. Trying to expose the nonsense that is homeopathy.
Oh, yeah, I saw that, yeah.
So, look forward to that.
Do you know what that is, Carl?
Oh, go on.
They've got a theory that, if you, say you got something, an essential oil or something, or, in a solution, 1 in 10 solution, and it does something to you, actually does something to you, they've got this thing where they dilute it till there's nothing in it, but because they're using the same water, and the water still has the same effect. It's sort of like a placebo that you know works. You know, that's the sort of theory of it.
What time's that on?
Check the papers, but I think it's, sort of 9 o'clock Thursday, something like that. It'll be interesting though, Carl. It will be interesting, mate. Trust me. I'll tell you what's also interesting, Rick. The prizes we're giving away this week on Rockbusters. We got for you David Attenborough's The Life of Mammals. I don't know, is this a new show? Is this on TV at the moment? Is this like a new thing? So that looks just like a double VHS thing there. We've also got a U2, the best of their 90s videos, even better than the real things on there. Mysterious Ways, Beautiful Day, Electrical Storm, the new one. Stuff on there, that's on the video. We've also got a couple of CDs, The Smashing Pumpkins. I think this is sort of alternative versions of a lot of their hits and stuff, live versions and stuff like this. Johnny Cash's current album, possibly his last. We don't know, because apparently he's not very well at the moment.
That's an album of covers.
Yeah, well, not all covers, some of his new stuff as well, but he's done covers of things like Personal Jesus by Depeche Mode, and Desperado, and Bridge Over Troubled Water. And the great thing about Cash is I read an amazing review where it says it's like he always makes them his own, do you know what I mean? It's like you can't even remember the old versions.
But Desperado by the Eagles?
By the Eagles, yeah.
I'd like to play that, just to hear that, because I haven't heard that. We'll play that and then give it away. These are actually good prizes, Carl.
Good prizes. We've also got, including a small, miniature 3-wheel car, an Only Fools and Horses video. I think this is the, special that was on Christmas TV last year. So if you're one of the people who didn't see it, I mean, wasn't there like 22 million people watching?
Ridiculous, yeah.
If you're one of the people who, you know, desperately wants to see it again, I know I do.
And wants a small yellow car.
Also wants a small yellow car. Then there it is. And, also, another of these, compilations, arbitrary compilation albums, the best chill-out album ever, Rick.
Sure.
If you're a fan of the Levi's Freedom ad,
I love the Levi's Freedom ad.
Then the track that...
I hate the music to it, though.
No, well, that's a shame, because it's included on here. Rick, how much do you love the Volvo TV advert?
Love it. Because that... Hate the music again, though. Why?
That's a shame, because
is it? It's the music. Oh, okay. Sure.
But there's also stuff on here, there's some interesting stuff. There's Pink Floyd, there's Coldplay, there's Roy Scott, so, it's probably worth it.
I love Pink Floyd. Except the music again. So it's a bit of a bind for me.
That's a whole heap of treats.
And that's the winner of Rockbusters.
That's the winner of Rockbusters.
Coming up after the adverts.
Okay.
Doves, Caught by the River on XFM 104.9. We're into the second hour now. This is when this award-winning show really kicks into gear.
When you say award-winning?
We haven't won them yet. I mean, we will win some.
Hang on, let me remind you. Wasn't there a bronze in the Sony Awards?
Oh, yeah, we got a bronze. I don't go for bronze. It doesn't count. No, it doesn't count. It doesn't count. I'm Ricky Gervais, obviously, with me, Steve Merchant, and Karl Pilkington, which is, what Heat write about, really. Karl's the main man. Think of Karl, a year ago, he was just sitting in that room going, alright, I've done this. XFM. It's good, isn't it? Yeah, it's like a music bed. Brilliant. Comes on the show, we start taking the piss out of him. People start going, oh, who's the idiot you've got in? And we go, he's Karl. And they go, we like him, he's a fool. I go, yes, he's a fool, he's a pet buffoon. And they go, well, let him speak more. Right? And they're going, don't let him talk, XFM, the fat cats. Oh. And I said, I'm a rebel and I do it my way.
Rick, can I ask, did you stick it to the man?
Yeah. And then MTV call up. Heat are writing about him every week.
Yeah.
He's just been filmed for the BBC.
There's some rumours he might be the new James Bond.
Yeah. Is he in lovely McVitie's original digestives? Are we allowed to, if McVitie's are listening, I love these biscuits.
Yeah.
And he's got the best...
If the Spearmint Rhino strip clubs are listening, I'm a huge fan.
Right? And he's got Rockbusters to come.
Yes,
let's do it.
I should just ask, the few people have asked me this, and there's also an email here from Rich. People are saying they've seen some of the posters and the adverts of, advertising the show, plugging the show. Why aren't you on the posters, Karl? And it is your choice, isn't it? We did ask, Karl to be involved, but
he is actually. It's like, where's Waldo? He's actually,
is he there hidden?
He's in my trousers.
Look, you don't like having your photo taken, no? You're not seeking the publicity. No. I reckon you are secretly. I don't believe you.
No, he's right. He's totally right. He's doing it just right. But I think there's a fine line to be drawn that, if you like being in, around radio, you've got and you want your own show, or you enjoy talking and they just happen to be filming you for MTV, that's different. I think what you just avoid is going to silly celebrity bashes, having your picture taken for the sake of it. I mean, I think you're right, but I think you should do the screen test. On a serious note, I think you should do the screen test. Just because it might be fun, and if it's no good, they won't do it. And you can stop any time you want. No one has to keep going on telly.
I just think we're going to lose him.
No,
we won't lose him.
Listen, right? I'll always be part of this.
I'm just worried that you're going to exhaust yourself. You're going to be drained. You're going to have told all your anecdotes on MTV.
He certainly will if you have to help the old fella upstairs with the bed.
Yeah.
Yeah, £50 an hour. Oh. That's terrible. Go on.
But what I wanted to do, right, because I don't want to embarrass myself, right? I don't want to embarrass the woman at MTV when I turn up and she thinks, oh, look at him.
Yeah.
What a waste of film this is going to be. Because it's not cheap. I know that.
It's not film either, but go on.
Well...
It won't. It is cheap. It is cheap. They're filming on a DV camera that they can go over. If it's no good, they won't show it to anyone. It'll be great. It's just what they want you. Honestly, I can just see you doing little things, just like popping up, between the records and going, alright, MTV, music, television, hear about the airy Chinese kid born, which is weird, isn't it? Because they're not usually airy. And it just goes, MTV. It'd be brilliant. It'd be brilliant, Karl. I'll come down with you. I'll come down with you.
Well, we'll see.
Go on.
We'll think about it, right?
Go on. Right, Rockbusters.
So, Rockbusters, it's a little clue, some initials, 3 different clues. You email in ricky.gervais@xfm.co.uk. You can win the load of stuff that we've got. So, first one, here's the clue. Stop throwing that fruit about.
Oh. And what's the initial?
That's CB. CB. Stop throwing that fruit about.
Yeah. Alright. Is Anders listening? Has he emailed us in yet?
Anders, not had any response from Anders. I'll keep
I hope he hasn't stopped listening. Because he doesn't like the show. He's gone off. I hope he hasn't gone off the show.
So, the second one, that Scottish fella has made an error.
That Scottish fella has made an error?
Yeah,
Interesting.
That's M. Right, that Scottish fella has made an error. Right?
Okay.
And, the last one, God, you can make a right load of toast with them.
You can make a right load of toast with them.
Yeah.
All right. What's the initial there?
That's G.
Gee, I was thinking it might be bread for a minute, but no. Gee.
So just very quickly, stop throwing that fruit about, CB.
I've got the last one.
Right. Scottish
It
fella.
doesn't work. It doesn't count. Doesn't count.
Well, that Scottish fella's made an error. That's M. And, God, you can make a right load of toast with M. That's G. Email in ricky.gervais@xfm.co.uk and you can...
We got the CDs, we got horses, we got mammals on VHS, we got U2, we got a couple of CDs, including Johnny Cash.
Here's a new tune from a new fella called Papa Garcia. See what you think of this.
You see, if he was on MTV, I couldn't say his name.
Why?
What is it again?
Papa Garcia.
Right, here's a new one from Papa Garcia.
Brilliant. Papa Garcia, Natalie and Nusi from the forthcoming album Bring Me the Head of Papa Garcia. Catchy that. Quite retro. It's a bit of Elton John and
all sorts thrown in,
yeah, lovely. Right, here we go. Quick clues again, and then we better do Educating Ricky.
Well, this is the favourite bit of the show for me now, Educating Ricky.
I love it.
I can't. Well, I'm anxious all week.
Well, just quickly on those clues, just in case people need to know again. Stop throwing that fruit about, CB. That Scottish fella's made a bit of an error, M. And, God, you can make loads of toast with M. That's, G.
Alright, brilliant. Ricky.gervais@xfm.co.uk. It's email only.
Oh, I need some learning. I need some knowledge, Carl. Educate me.
I might be able to help you.
Go on.
We've got 3 things, as always. I'll give them a little, heading to tease you, as to which one you want to learn first.
Yeah.
First one is the tip included?
Is the tip included?
Like it.
Second one, I want to come here in hindsight. Right.
I wouldn't have come here in hindsight?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the third one, am I gonna have to thump you?
Am I gonna have to thump you? Okay, and you've trawled, the internet?
So, so if I can get into the mindset of this plan, is the tip included? Well, obviously, that's probably not gonna be about a waiter. It's gonna be if that's someone losing the end of his knob, I assume. Am I gonna have to thump you? That's a man who lost his arm in a fight, but then picked it up with the other arm and smacked him with it. What was the middle one?
I want to come here in hindsight.
Hindsight.
Hindsight?
Yeah, it's someone was blinded by baked beans.
Sure.
So what are you going for then?
I think I'd better go for, am I gonna have to thump you?
Right, well this isn't... I've been struggling again, to be honest with you. Searching high and low for stuff, and some of these I had to leave till this morning.
Right, because there's just not enough knowledge out in the world, is there, that you don't know about?
I found out about something in the week about a guy who, was playing tug-of-war.
This is bonus material, isn't it?
He was playing tug-of-war.
Oh, his arm came off.
Only his arm come off.
Yeah, he got caught up in the rope, yeah.
No, he didn't. He didn't get caught up in the rope, he just was trying that hard and didn't want to lose. He kept holding it.
But he allowed his arm to be pulled off?
He really wanted to win. And
well,
the other team pulled it and his arm come off.
No.
Well...
I don't know who to believe.
Well, think about it. If he's gripping...
Yeah.
As soon as there's tension, like the arm coming out of the socket, the hand might release. I think his arm got caught up in the rope. And so it was involuntary, as opposed to him going, well, my arm's coming off, but I'm not gonna lose this! You might be right.
That's the fact
That's a bonus, that's a bonus fact.
Yeah, well,
that's educated me.
Well...
A man lost his arm? Oh, interesting. Go on.
Am I gonna have to thump you?
Yeah.
Do you know the saying, shut your face?
Yeah, I've heard the well-known Shakespeare, innit?
Yeah. Do you know how it came about?
No, Joe Dolce?
No,
go on.
It's, ages ago.
Oh, yeah, literally.
Like, knights who wore armour.
Okay.
That's, armour gonna have to thump you, that's how it came about.
Okay, armour.
They wore all the stuff, and they had the helmet, and say if they're guarding something at night, stood outside a castle or something,
yeah.
And there's probably gonna be 2 of them, right? So they stood there talking and that, and, talking about stuff, and...
The future.
Sort of, yeah, medieval stuff.
One of them's like, oh, I wish you'd shut up, you know, I've been stood here for hours, and he's going on and on.
Yeah, sure.
So he'd say, shut your face. Meaning... shut the guard down on your helmet.
The visor.
And I can't hear you then.
Uh-huh.
So shut your face.
Shut your face.
And that's how it came about.
Well, I suppose that's...
It would be interesting if I could just rely on it as
I'm not sure it's true, yeah.
I know, I just never know, I can...
It needs to be corroborated.
It's like, I don't know where he got it from, but anything via Karl is precarious.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like maybe you should give us your sources next time. You know, tell us where you got this information from.
Got it off the internet.
Yeah, but where on the internet?
I can't remember where that one was. I mean, I always go through, like, the news pages and stuff, and
this news should be updated, because they've only reached the 17th century, which is last week with people eating, tomatoes off lead
but
plates.
Then I look at news and there was stuff about a woman who was in a shop and she, I don't know, they had some workmen in doing the shop up, and they had some wood glue left out and she asked for some pear juice, and then the guy went and thought the glue in the thing was the pear juice and she went and drank that. But that's not really news.
No.
So I thought, well, we're not having that.
I wish you hadn't told us.
There was one about...
So there's some poor woman now whose tiles have fallen off because she tried to put them up with pear juice.
Yeah.
See, that's the danger of mixing up pear juice with toxic glue.
Yeah.
Your wallpaper and your tiles and everything just fall down.
There's also...
Be careful, everyone.
Be careful.
There's something about, kids having hamburgers, it makes them fat.
Hamburgers.
Hold on. What? Having food with high fat content can make you put on weight?
Yeah.
Don't believe it. You're an idiot. What's the next one?
No, let's play a tune, let's play a tune.
You've still got to come, you've still got I Want to Come Here in Hindsight, and you've still got Is the Tip Included, but we've got a bit of,
Well, I think we haven't played anything for a while, have we, in terms of the hip-hop hooray feature that I used to be so popular for. So I thought we'd just resurrect that for 1 week only.
Heat didn't pick up on that one, did they?
They didn't, did they? Let me just remind you, hip-hop hooray was where I played a hip-hop track.
And then I said hooray, or...
Yeah, no, well, no, I think...
No,
didn't even have that.
Brilliant.
That's a great thing, though. We could add that in, we could phase that in. Maybe at the end of the, song you could...
Hooray.
Brilliant.
Brilliant.
Okay.
No, check it.
Featuring Puff Daddy and Little Kim, that's Notorious B.I.G.
Brilliant.
and Notorious.
Great, lovely. Karl just, said to me, here's something. You can't hold your breath to death.
Have you tried it, Karl?
It's just another little lesson.
There's someone here who's in a really low ebb. They've been listening to the show, they were going to commit suicide. They just started holding their breath and thinking, oh, screw it.
Well, what did you learn in the week, right? I'm always doing all the educating. I asked you were talking about watching a programme about jellyfish.
Yeah.
And I said, well, that'll be interesting. I'll try and find some stuff out, but I couldn't find anything that I didn't already know about them.
It must be difficult for you to find anything you don't already know.
So what did you learn about jellyfish?
I agreed with you by the end of it, that they should be wiped off the face of the earth, because they're balls of water in membrane, right, that go around stinging people to death.
Yeah.
Let's lose them, Karl. Let's lose the jellyfish. Yeah?
That's what I think. Because I was stung by one. Did you know?
Oh, you got stung by one? Yeah,
I was on holiday and got stung by one.
Yeah.
And I don't understand.
No,
don't
you're
understand
not,
them.
not a fan of them.
So that's that.
Good. So well, that's sorted out the jellyfish conundrum. We've solved that particular worry.
Right then, so, take your pick then.
I asked him if he could have any animal the other day. Did I ask him on air as well?
Don't know.
Off air, he said, I've got it down to 2. Right, and this was, he said, what favourite animal looking at, or could I own one? And I went, you could own one. And he went, right, but could I own one, or would I have trouble? I went, Karl, you've got all the expertise, you can just have it in whatever it needs, and you go down there. He went, right, and I won't regret it and get fed up. I said, no, Karl, just what animal, if you could have any animal, what animal would you love? He went, I've got it down to 2. I went, what is it? He said, either the rhino or the hippo.
What's your logic?
Well, I don't know. That was then. I mean, ask me tomorrow, and I might have 2 other favourites. Do you know what I mean? When was that?
A couple of weeks ago. When was that? Well, you were there.
Yeah, but you know.
What are they today? Quickly now. First animal that comes into your head.
Quickly now. Any animal I want.
You could have any animal in the world.
Right.
From one that's maybe extinct. Anything you want.
Right. I might have. Just for today.
Just for today.
I might have a scorpion in a little box.
A little scorpion in a box.
No.
What's your thinking?
It's the chimp every time. It's the chimpanzee or the gorilla.
No. But, have I told you that programme about the scorpion? How they all help each other out?
Right. Scorpions all help each other out?
No, this is brilliant, right? Somewhere in the desert.
Okay.
There's these little...
In the desert.
It's like these little monkeys that are underground or something. And there's holes.
Is this beneath the Planet of the Apes? The fourth in the series.
Are they talking apes?
Oh, forget it, actually.
No, and you've got it wrong anyway. They're not monkeys.
There's little monkeys under the goose. What are they doing down there?
They're
Toiling into
lizards.
underground mines?
They're lizards, if you remember, and the lizard goes to sleep, and the bloke comes along, you've told this, and the
We've done it, alright.
monkey from monkey lizard. That's what happens in his mind. From lizard to monkey. Oh, evolution would have been so much easier if Carl was around.
Right.
Turn it into a monkey, I'm fed up with the lizard.
Just promise me once again, Carl, I've asked you before, promise me you'll never have children.
Go on, right, okay.
Right, what are you having?
What are they again?
Is the tip included?
Yeah, go on, that one.
Right. In Turkey,
Nice.
it's not, actually. That's where I went, and there was them little fellas after Suzanne in the kitchen.
What? What do you mean?
We went to Turkey.
You went to
And,
Turkey and there were some little fellas.
Well, they had quite a few sort of midgets working in the kitchen.
Why? Is it a theme?
No,
Was it a
it's
theme
just-
holiday?
I don't know. Might get them cheaper or something.
Was it
So they
You
were
get them
working.
cheaper?
They were working in the kitchen, and one of them fancied Suzanne and kept sort of eyeing her up, and she was winding me up saying, "Oh,
not eyeing up and down, just eyeing her up?
Yeah.
fancy." Anyway, no. So
What
anyway,
was she doing in the kitchen?
no, it's like a pick what you want to eat type buffet, but you have people clearing the tables and that ready for you to come along,
Are they low tables?
and you know, he was just keeping an eye on her.
What did he say though? Was
How
he?
did he
What
make
was
this
it? Was
clear?
it?
It was
Was
Turkish, so I don't know what he was saying.
but he was. Was it? He was.
Little fella, yeah,
Did he talk
What do you
to
mean
her?
a little fella? What do you mean little fella?
sort of dwarf-like.
What do you mean dwarf like? He had magic powers or he was 4 foot?
No,
What do you
just
mean,
A
Carl?
little bloke, just like a normal bloke, but small. If you stood him in the desert, you wouldn't know.
But he'd be hot and
nothing around
thirsty. Right, Carl.
You should watch out for the monkeys.
Yeah, underground.
Those underground monkeys are
look,
dangerous.
you can't just say there was a little midget fella who was eyeing up my girlfriend and then leave it. What do you mean? What was happening? This is a story to us. This is much more interesting to us than, and she was deaf, right, and she hit her head. That's much more
I don't
interesting.
understand how how it manifested itself. Did he come over and say something?
No, do you know when it's like girls know, don't they? When someone fancies them.
What do you mean there was lots of them as well?
Do
then?
they? That's worth knowing.
Listen, right, come on, right, so you went into this holiday, yeah?
Yeah, wasn't
And you
that
went
good?
into the dining room or something?
Yeah, downstairs.
And
in
you
the
looked
dining
You
over
room.
thought, this is all, there's no one serving.
Yeah, and they go,
Wait a minute.
hold on, you looked down and there was a little waiter.
There was loads of them running around busy.
Why, though? Why did
Because
they
it
get
was
those?
summer.
What do you mean?
Because it was
Loads of them.
summer.
They had more of them
They
on.
come out in summer. They come out in summer.
What do you mean they had more? What do you
Because
mean?
it's busy, isn't it?
Well, no, but they
So-
hibernate in the
why
winter.
were they all midgets?
I don't know, maybe it doesn't heat stunt your growth or something.
No!
Well, they just happened to, maybe it was a thing that they did for tourists or something, I don't know. I just got on with my meal, it was a holiday, do you know what I mean?
God!
Right,
So some midget serving. I'm not going to ask any questions.
Right, okay, yeah.
So they're all little fellas running around, and this one always was like, you know, oh, do you want a new serviette? You know what I mean? Going out of his way to sort of...
for turning on
Oh,
the
yeah,
charm.
Yeah, he was going
Oh.
out of his way, the others weren't.
Right. I think what was happening is he'd been working with Santa all till winter.
Yeah.
Which is
Or
sort of little summer break.
This one
He
was
hadn't
your
seen a girl.
waiter, and so he was being polite to you.
Maybe.
But what did Suzanne say then? When to
Well, she was using it to wind me up.
what was she saying? Oh, he's
Oh, just like, you know, look,
he may be small, but he's
well,
built like a.
Yeah, he's all man.
so
Were you jealous of a midget then? You were jealous of him?
it is a bit annoying, isn't it?
Why?
It wouldn't bother me as much now, because I've been with her for ages.
Right.
But at the time, that might have been one of our first holidays, and it's like,
You don't
know,
want everybody
what's going on? I
stolen
paid for this holiday.
Yeah.
And then you get off with a midget.
Yeah.
Oh.
So anyway,
But it doesn't matter because you got chatted up by a bearded lady. So
yeah.
tell you what, no, that's got nothing to do with that.
What were you going to say?
Carl,
What were you going to
I
say?
was going to say the hotel was half board, and maybe.
Oh, right. I thought you were going to say it's just one of her shortcomings.
So listen, right?
play a record, Carl.
Right. Badly drawn boy, born again. Right, just get this educating Ricky out of the way. So, Turkey, yeah. So what is this again?
This is educating Ricky, is a tip included.
Right.
Apparently a fella was on holiday in Turkey. He's just having a normal holiday, weather's good, you know, he's having a good time. And
Waiters are all normal height.
Yeah. He's having his meal. He hears a load of screaming going on in the kitchen.
Hold on.
Has his girlfriend wandered in there?
And they do,
With a stepladder.
Yeah.
the circumcised people in the kitchen, and apparently...
What are you talking about?
Whoa, slow down. We were sidetracked there for a minute.
What are you talking about? Well, I'm excited about two things at once here. One, they circumcised people in the kitchen. Two, I guessed it was someone losing the end of their knob.
He did, yeah.
I started thinking like Karl Pilkington.
Extraordinary.
That is amazing.
Apparently it was going on. It wasn't just a one-off either. Well, when I say a one-off, I mean they did it more than once.
Yeah.
Right? And there was, it was there for a week, and apparently the first night it was quiet, and then the rest of the week, every day, it'd be like having his breakfast, or even his lunch, or even his tea.
Yeah.
He'd be doing it all day.
Oh.
You'd be hearing
Lunch
screams.
and breakfast, fair enough, Rick.
Yeah,
circumcision at tea time.
Don't do that.
And apparently it's a tradition over there. You can't even make a complaint about it. It's like, well, you should have found out before you come over
See,
here.
I can't believe this is
So
true.
I'm a little
I
bit
can't
lost.
believe this is
He
true.
was in a restaurant, in a hotel, and there were people having circumcisions in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Is that right?
I'm even worried that we're bordering on the racist here, suggesting that is tradition, that Turkish people cut the end of their cocks off in the kitchen.
Yeah.
At meal times. I think you're wrong, Karl.
This just sounds ludicrous, Karl.
No, I don't think it happens everywhere.
Right.
I think this
Just in
Oh, this hotel.
certain places,
Certain hotels.
certain hotels.
What,
it's-
is it like 2-star?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Why did he go to the Foreskin Inn? It was his own fault, wasn't it?
So that's
Sorry, that's it, is it?
Have they closed?
Sorry, no, wait. That's the story. You educated me, right? Once a fella saw some Turkish people cutting the tip of their knob off in the kitchen. Thanks very much. Thanks very much, Karl. Got any more?
Well, there's things you can learn from it. Either don't go to Turkey.
No!
Don't have calamari when you're over there.
Yeah. Karl, you've done it again.
Well,
You too. I love that one. On XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais, Steve Merchant, Karl. Okay, Karl, one more.
can't we just...
Don't get the just because so far you've come up with nothing. What's the last one?
Give us the teaser clue again.
It was, I want to come here in hindsight.
I wouldn't have come here in hindsight.
Yeah.
Right, give me some education. This will be the thing that teaches me something. I can feel it in my bones. Come on.
There's a kid in Kenya. He was messing about with some beans.
Magic.
We guessed that as well. You did, yeah. He's fed up because we've guessed his puns, I think.
They put one of him in his ear.
Yeah.
The mum or the dad said, oh, what have you done that for, or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'll have to take you to the doctors now. So they took the kid to the doctors, and the doctor said, oh, he said, I can get that out, I can sort that out for you. So, he took it out, and the doctor said, right, that's £3.50. And the dad said, I've only got £2.70 on me. And the doctor said, right, well, and he put the bean back in his kid's ear.
I don't know what to say. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean,
A couple of questions from me, very quickly. Are you sure that those were definitely the sums involved, were they?
Well, the equivalent of whatever the deal with in Kenya.
Yeah.
It was the equivalent of, you know...
oh, so what currency was it, Karl, that you translated into sterling?
I don't know. No, it was saying in the thing. It said the equivalent of
£3.15, £2.70.
Did it say that?
Yeah. So
Did it say that?
Yeah.
Karl, look at me. Look at me. Did it say that?
Yeah. It said that was the.
Did it say that?
Yeah. Yeah, it did. it definitely said that. Definitely.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I suppose, I don't know. I mean, all these things. The idea is, it's not like a lesson. It's like, I'll tell you this, see what you can get from it.
Sure.
So you look at what I've told you already. The knights who said shut your face. That's like
that's amazing.
that explains itself.
Yeah.
Turkey with the circumcisions in a restaurant.
Yeah. That'll hold me in good stead. Yeah.
Don't go there. Whatever. Yeah. This one, if you're in Kenya, don't put beans in your ears or something. Doctors
or carry £3.50 or the equivalent of.
It's just the idea that the doctor put it back in his ear. He forced it back in his ear. So is it still there to this day? I mean, is there any update on that story?
Or did he go back with the £3.50?
I presume he either went and got a second opinion, see if he could get it cheaper.
Right.
From another doctor.
Yeah.
Or he said, right, I'll come back next week.
Yeah.
After I've been paid. Or he saw how the doctor did it and thought, well, I'll have a go at that.
Sure.
I'll get home.
Yeah, for free.
But he never said how it ended.
No.
But, I mean, I apologise for this week, 'cause I mean, I haven't got that much out of it.
You've not been enriched.
It was very, very light. Like I said, there was the tug of war. There was a fella in Scotland who had a load of tattoos.
Okay.
Is that it?
Is that the end of the story?
98% covered.
Right.
Just between his toes, he didn't have done.
Why not?
Because it looked stupid. I don't know. It just said 98% done. What else?
Are you gonna drop the feature? Are you worried?
I'm thinking about it.
Don't drop the feature.
To be honest with you.
Heat have probably written about this already. This has been a classic.
I'm concerned because it's my favourite part of the show. I'm wondering, is there something else we could? What could we do to help you out? Because I hate to see it go.
Well, we can't really, and he's moving this week with the old fella, so that'll take him about 4 days. I'm worried that you're not. I'm worried you're not looking in the right. Why don't you go to a library?
Quick question for you, Carl. Who is a possible guest on next week's Pilkington?
What are you going to investigate?
I mean, what about your removals man?
Right, listen. If you've had a experience, it can be anything, right? It doesn't have to be you've seen a ghost. It can be that you think you're going to live forever, or you can, do any mentalist out there. If you're slightly, wrong. If there's something wrong with you, just email Carl. Is it carl.pilkington@xfm.co.uk? Yeah. carl.pilkington@xfm.co.uk.
Would you like to be interviewed on next week's edition of Pilkington?
If you are a mental of any description, just lonely, bewildered, stupid, just something wrong with you, right, and you've seen something that's, interesting to you but absolute bollocks, then please call Carl.
Yeah. Carl.Pilkington.
Don't let that put you off, by the way. Don't think, they're going to take the piss out of me. Just if, in any way, if it's, fodder for us, then call up, because Carl will like you. You'll be friends with Carl, won't you? Quick, the clues. What's the answers? We always do this. We're running out of time.
Don't worry, we've got a tune, and then we'll come back with the answers for Rockbusters. A lot of great prizes.
Alright, we'll have a bit of cash.
Johnny Cash, one of the prizes we're giving away.
Johnny Cash and Desperado.
That's from his new album, which is a collection of new songs and covers, which is one of the prizes given away on this week's Rockbusters.
And, can we have the clues and the answers and the winners?
Yeah. First one was stop throwing that fruit about.
Stop throwing that fruit about. The answer is
B. That was Chuck Berry.
Oh, of course it was.
Okay. I'll give you that.
The one that you've worked out, I'll do next. The, God, you make a load of toast with them. That was G. Gorillas.
Gorillas, though, isn't it?
Gorillas. And the middle one was that Scottish fella's made an error. That was Mystique. Mystique. So...
Did anyone get that?
Extraordinarily, almost all the people who emailed in, and
I'm beginning to think it's us then, because I was thinking mistake, I was thinking muck error, and muck mistake, but mistake.
Yeah. So, do you want to pick a winner?
Yeah, I was going to give the prizes to Amy Massey, who's from Wiltshire, the West Country. Losers down there. Probably as weird as you.
Yeah.
So, she's won, and congratulations to her. I'm assuming she's listening online, or maybe via some kind of...
I think we must have a lot of listeners outside London, because all these are from Norwich and... Yeah. Have we got any listeners in London?
Places, it's where there's a lot of inbreeding.
Yeah, there's nothing else to do.
Exactly.
Norwich and Wiltshire.
Well, cheers for that, Amy. Well done.
He waved then when he said that.
He did, yeah.
He waved.
He's working.
No, he's working, getting ready for TV.
Of course he is, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think
so. Is that this week? Can it be arranged for this week?
Yeah, I'll sort it out.
Well, I'm busy this week. I'm moving.
Of course.
So let's talk about that.
And you can do an edition of Cribs. Where they get rock stars to show them around their home.
We're done now. It's finished.
Sorry, was I boring you?
What day are you moving?
It's been pretty bad today. It's been pretty bad.
What are you talking about? Hold on, I was talking and you just went anyway. Well, we're still on air. We're still on air.
We've run out of time now.
Well, I've run out of time. It's 6 minutes to.
I know, but we've got to finish now.
Why?
Because we always do this.
What? Why are you getting stressed, Carl? You do not cut me off when I'm talking. Whatever you do.
Can I just remind you, Carl, it is Ricky's show.
Yeah.
I know, but as the producer...
Ooh, you've changed, Carl.
Go on.
As the producer, I've got to press this button.
Why, though? At 6 minutes to? Tell me why.
Because that's when it finishes.
What,
We've got a clear net for the next.
On the poster it says 1 to 3. It doesn't say 1 till 2:55.
Right.
You